I believe this, and I've been on this earth a long time to know that imperfection comes with people who are good or bad. So it doesn't matter. He's not targeting anyone. We must use wisdom to create situations where we're not breaking down the DNA system. But
Yeah, so how do you account for the fact that dinosaurs had the exact same issues that we had? Like there's dinosaur bones with cancer, but dinosaurs were long before humans. So what's the deal with that?
cancer. We say to ourselves, why God? Why do I have to suffer? Why do I have to have cancer? Well, Jesus was ripped apart. He was given gall, which is urine to put in his mouth as he was dying on the cross. We say to ourselves, God, I don't want to suffer. I don't want to suffer. But yet Jesus has been on the cross and he suffered so badly that he died for you and me, for to have salvation, a free thing that we
Yeah,
can.
that's really nice, but should we like limit the preaching and instead get to the actual like arguments and the substance? Because you're not really engaging with any of what I'm saying. The fact that somebody else went through something bad doesn't mean that it's okay to do like any bad thing. The fact that the Schmolocaust happened doesn't mean that it's somehow not bad to do like armed robbery.
I'm not saying that. You
But
know,
you're saying that like, well, people are like, well, I have cancer and it's really bad, and then you tell them, well, what about Jesus? What about the suffering he went through? What about the people with cancer? Why would God make an anatomy that is capable of getting cancer?
I'm going to tell you something real quickly here. My brain was destroyed by an automobile wreck. Okay,
I'm not interested in the personal experience.
this is what happened. When I came back from heaven, the Lord said, I'm going to send you back to heaven, but it's going to take my timing to heal your brain. For 22 years, I had amnesia. And after 22 years, I cried out to the Lord. And I said, you kept a promise. I'm keeping it to you, Lord. And instantly, I was healed and I regained my memory back. You see, God works in mysterious ways. The imperfections that we have, can be asked by him to heal or not heal. It's up to him to decide. And whatever he decides, I'm going to go for it. And whether my brain would ever have been healed again, I would have still said, I still love you and have faith in you. So we just can't discredit that God doesn't exist. I obviously, you're Jewish, right?
No. What the fuck?
You said something to do with I don't know, you said, what is it, Holocaust, whatever you said, the way you said it.
The Holocaust is bad regardless of whether you're Jewish.
Well, of course it is. And it's something that we as people don't want to remember, but it happened. So I don't understand why you make such an argument that God doesn't exist, because if he doesn't exist, my last word is that you don't exist. Because without him, you and I would not be breathing and speaking these conflicting words on air. So
No, I think we came from evolution. Wait, so why could we have not come from evolution?
evolution does not repeat itself. We don't come from monkeys because we haven't turned back to
I
monkeys.
agree, we don't come from monkeys.
Or whether we come from an organism or something. We have not returned back.
We are organisms.
We are, of course, we are a body of organisms, and that is cell, and all the other structures that God has given us. The thing is that we can make a strong point about God doesn't exist, but I'm going to say this last thing. When we are in hell because of our choices, we're going to say, oh God, you did exist. Why am I here? Because the Lord says you didn't want to listen to me. You wanted to pull out false accusations against me. And now you're in hell. And now you know that I exist. I hate to say that will happen to any of us who choose to believe that God does not exist. Do you know that God will reveal himself if you really ask him?
Do you want to ask him right now?
Hey,
Yeah, let's ask him right now.
Listen, he doesn't have to come back in a storm, or he doesn't have to have
I thought he would reveal himself. Wait, why are we walking away from that claim now?
I'll say something. There have been people who have been stranded on islands. They didn't believe in God. But one day, God had sent an angel and had said, listen, no.
I didn't ask. I did not ask.
I'm asking, okay? First of all, there have been people on desert islands that have come to know Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, and they got saved, and they were rescued. And if some didn't get rescued, they went on to heaven. Okay, so your
I
argument
didn't ask.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, okay? All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. You had no evidence for any of your claims.
and fine. Ask God directly. Don't ask people.
Yeah, let's ask God right now.
Ask
Dear
people.
God, if you exist, would you please reveal yourself to me and all these fine people?
You got to be sincere because God will not answer.
I am being sincere.
He will reveal to you. The Lord has spoken to my heart. He's going to reveal to you, but you're going to deny him because you're stubborn.
I'm
But
looking around my room. It looks exactly the same as it did before I prayed.
well, that's a physical thing. It has nothing to do with God.
I mean, I think everything is physical, but where should I be seeing God revealing himself? Is it going to be in like 2 to 3 business days? Does
You
he
know
need
what?
to prepare, or what's the deal?
Well,
Why
I
couldn't
have seen
God reveal himself right now?
who think that they can get away with mocking God, but don't mock God because history tells us God does not like mockers. He will reveal, if you are really sincere to find out who God is, he will reveal to you who he is. And it'll come through signs, it will come through dreams, it will come through people who really love God. And I'm telling you right now, even the Lord sends angels to speak to you, to reveal himself.
Why
Really,
doesn't God just pop down here right now and say, "Hey, what's up? I'm God. All right, bye-bye."
our human nature wants God to just pop in and pop out. It doesn't work
Yeah,
that
why
way.
doesn't he do that?
No, the thing is that he wants to work on your faith. He wants us to reveal the little mustard seed he gives us of faith.
Okay, so
Grow.
which relationship is going to be stronger? One where I know the other person exists, or one where I only have faith that the other person exists? Is it going to be a better relationship if I know my girlfriend exists, or if I have faith that my girlfriend exists? Which one's a stronger relationship?
Matter. God is spiritual matter. He is
No,
a
no, no.
spirit.
Wait. Answer. Which one's the stronger relationship?
God, not your
That's not an
girlfriend.
answer to my question.
He said your
Which
girlfriend. You
one's going to
don't.
be the stronger relationship? One where I know that my girlfriend exists, or one where I have faith that my girlfriend exists? Which one's the stronger relationship?
If she should disappear and still be alive, you would still believe that she exists, right?
No.
Now, see,
If my girlfriend disappeared off the face of the earth, then I would not think that she still existed.
you could be in space in a spaceship. Who knows? But you still believe that she exists until you see her, right?
So I would need an initial starting like knowledge that she exists. So I could have faith that God continues to exist after he reveals himself for the first time, but I can't have a relationship that I start just based on faith. I can't have faith that I'm in a relationship. I need to know that I'm in a relationship. Otherwise it's not meaningful. It's not two-way.
I'll tell you this: your relationship is just based on physical, okay? But your
You're not going to
God,
answer the question.
I'm trying to describe. Your relationship is physical right now, and of course, you know that she exists. She's there with you because we are humans. We want to touch. We want tangible things. We want to touch things. But in the spirit realm, in God's realm, you can't touch it. You know that when God reveals Himself, it'll be a spiritual level, not a physical level.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, I don't believe in anything spiritual, so I'm just not really sure what that means.
that is the block. That is the block that you have between God and the physical.
The
And
fact that I like facts and things that are real?
you are saying that unless you could touch it, see it, smell it, taste it, that you don't believe.
Yeah,
That
or
is what
like hear it, or like, there's lots of ways, right? God could put crystals in my room right now that perfectly spelled out like God is real, and that'd probably do it. There's just like a million ways God could reveal himself to me very straightforwardly.
I want to say this. I was into witchcraft, into crystals, into all those things. I was even into meditation and levitation, okay? Jesus delivered me from that. I had to cry out to a God I didn't know existed, and He delivered
Kind of
me.
an L. That's
Yeah,
an
and
L. Well, you're only saying that because you're a Pisces.
no. No, I'm not a
As soon
Pisces.
as Jupiter gets back into retrograde, you'll be right back at it. You'll remember the truth of crystals.
Do the zodiac signs anymore. God said, no, those are not of me. Those are man things. But anyway, I don't want to argue with you anymore.
Scout, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Venmo. Hail Scout, hail 666, hail Satan. I appreciate that. Big W Scout in the comment section.
Himself, saying to you, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. I accept your surrender.
I don't surrender to nothing.
You haven't argued anything. Are you trying to? Do you not know how to get out? It's the X in the right hand corner. Oh, she just swiped off the app. Okay, I'll help you out. I accept your surrender. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen though. Try to get this live in front of as many people as we possibly can. Make sure you're dropping a follow, doing all that good stuff, sharing it with your friends. Try to fill that bar up. We made it to 50K, proud of all of you. Let's try to get to 75K, so just keep on double tapping. I'm sure that you can do it. All of you left like 20 likes right now, we would already be there. So let's go to the very next guest. Thank you so much. And if you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly -Ian. Cash App is just allegedly Ian. What's up?
Hello.
How's it going? How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 40.
Okay, and what religion?
Non-denomination.
So Christian?
Non-denomination. I just came up here to tell you that, you know, with having faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, you are going to go to hell and you're going to get suffered tormentedly because you're straying Christians away from Christ.
That's a really interesting threat, but do you have like an argument for why any of that's real?
Because my faith, I believe in Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's your faith, not mine, so I don't really care. Like,
Well,
maybe you should go threaten someone who
I hope
believes in
and
your
pray
fairy
that you will
tale.
turn your beliefs around.
Do
And I
you
just wanted to come on here and tell you that
do you think
I
telling
love
people
and
that they'll
support
be
you,
tortured
and I really hope that you come
before
to
you
see the
run
light.
away, I just have a quick question for you.
Yeah,
Or I guess a couple. So I want you to think of someone who you love, like truly deeply love more than anyone in the world.
yeah.
What would this person have to do for you to think that it's okay for them to be tortured forever?
Who's to say that they would be tortured forever?
You.
Well, how do I
I'm just
feel?
asking you, what would they have to do to be for you to think it's okay for them to be tortured forever?
What would they have to do to be tortured forever?
Yeah, what would they have to do? What kind of evil, sick crime would they need to do in order for you to think it's okay for them to be tortured forever?
Well, I can't answer that
Thank
because
you so much.
I'm
Appreciate
not
that.
God. I'm not
I'm
all
not asking you
knowing.
about God or hell. I'm just asking you about torture forever. What would this person that you love more than anything in the world, what would that person need to do for you to think that it's okay for them to be tortured forever?
Well, I mean, I think that they would have to really truly be sinister, you know. They would have to be truly evil, you know.
Yeah, but God's willing to torture the people that he loves even deeper than you love. You love the person that you're thinking about. God's willing to torture these people for much less.
Right? But he's very clear when he speaks in the Bible about, you know, the the salvation that we have in Christ, that if we believe and we confess with our mouth that the Son of God is real and he did what he did for us, he sacrificed himself for us to have everlasting life. That's what he's
That's
willing
not
to give us.
relevant. That's not relevant because what you said is that in order for you to think that it's okay to torture someone forever, someone that you love, they would need to be like just a real sick fuck. They would need to be so evil for you to think that they deserve to be tortured forever. But God's
I
willing to
didn't
torture
say it
people
like that.
forever
I
for
just
the
said that
crime of,
they would have to be truly evil, you know. I mean,
yeah,
but what by what God, his standards is that you have to believe in Jesus Christ. You have to follow the 10 commandments. You have
yeah.
to follow his law.
So God's willing to torture people forever for much, much less. He's willing to torture people forever for the crime of
Yes.
being wrong about religion.
Yes.
So then God's a sick fuck. God doesn't love
No,
us.
he's not, because the
Because
Bible
if God
is
loves
used
us,
for
there's nothing we could
how
do that would
long?
warrant torture
And
forever.
yeah, but we can't make that choice. We're not gods. We're not we're
God's
not
not
all
real.
knowing.
He's not real.
So
And
who are you to come on here and say that God isn't real? How
yeah,
have you
we
heard that
arrived
he
at
ain't
that
real?
conclusion together
Show
because
me
if
your proofs that he's not
yeah,
real.
so if God loved us, then he wouldn't torture us forever for the crime of being wrong about religion.
See, but that's your
God would torture
opinion.
us forever.
You're not God.
Well, no, I mean, it's your opinion too, right? You think that in order
Right,
for
but
someone to be
it's your
tortured,
opinion that he's
in
not
order for
real.
someone to deserve torture forever, they would need to be really evil. They would need to do much more than just being wrong about religion.
That's me and my opinion as a human perspective.
I know that's your opinion. It's just a really bad opinion.
Well, that's your opinion.
It's your opinion too. You're logically inconsistent.
You're getting on here. You were sitting around one day, and you leave your Jewish traditions and think that,
What the
that you're gonna spread hate and Satanism.
Fuck?
I mean, seriously,
Accusing me of spreading hate is so funny. I'm not
funny.
Jewish. I am Irish and German. I was raised Christian. Good try, though.
Oh yeah. But
how many Jewish people do you think died in the Holocaust?
And thought, well, I'm just gonna.
You're a weird
turn
anti-Semite.
everybody away that I
You're
can
a weird anti-Semite.
I'm what?
You're a weird anti-Semite.
And you're someone that turns people away from the Christian faith.
Yeah, based. That's fine. I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that conclusion that I'm someone who turns people away from the Christian faith and that you're a weird anti-Semite. Okay, works for me. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 75k likes. Share it with your friends. Drop a follow as well. If you never want to miss these debates in the future, if you want to always be here, learn a thing or two. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older, you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran, and you have an argument which does not involve personal experience. Of course, if you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly -Ian. Cash App is just allegedly Ian. And if you want to join the community, there's a link to the Discord in my bio. All that stuff, all that information is in my bio. You can feel free to support me. I know I always appreciate it, but I would also love to talk to you in the Discord. What's up, Seb? How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm about 19 years old, so I turned 19 just a few days ago, actually.
Okay.
But I was just watching the stream for about 5 minutes or so. I think my argument to start off would just be I don't think we can prove anything at all.
I disagree.
So I think with if I could give my piece, I think evidence is the closest thing you can get to proof, but you can't prove that we exist, that our emotions are real, or anything like that. So I think if you really were to think about it, the fact that you can say without proof that God exists or doesn't, like you can't prove the fact that the any sort of religion exists. But I always base my beliefs off of evidence, and the evidence that I've learned throughout many years of learning would be specifically just that life comes from life, and the fact that all of existence has, like, it points to the true living God has made us all and shaped us. So I mean, like, you can give your piece on that, but I just like to know, how can you say certainly that God doesn't exist in your
hell
view?
Yeah. God, I have a new argument that I've never run before, but I'm excited to. But first of all, Paige, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. Huge W, Paige, in the comment section. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Paige. I appreciate that. Thank you. W, Paige. Let's get a massive W, Paige, going in the comment section. So I have a proof that life does not come from non-life in your worldview. So do you agree that life is a biological process?
I believe that life has to start from something, and if it's biology, of course, like, humans come from other humans, whatever, like that. I totally agree.
Okay, wait. So premise 1, life is a biological process. Premise 2, God the Father does not have biological processes. Conclusion, God the Father does not meet the criteria for life.
I'm sorry.
So do you disagree with premise 1 or premise 2?
I think that humans have an origin, and we can't even prove for sure that it was from humans. Like there is no actual. I
Can
do
I
agree that there's evidence for that for sure, and I think that it's really hard to tell, but we can't say certainly where that humans didn't come from God.
Okay, wait, but can I just get you to reject premise, either premise one or premise two?
Well, what was premise two? I didn't hear
Yeah,
that
so
one.
premise one is that life is a biological process.
Yep.
Premise two is that God does not have biological processes.
No, he's not biological. He's not of our world. No.
So you agree with premise one and premise two?
Yep. Yep.
So then you agree that God the Father does not qualify as life.
God the Father. Well, I think you'd have to define life, and I believe that God is living. But he's not biological. He's living in a different. He's not of this world. He's not a human. He's not a, like Jesus. What he came down to become human as Jesus Christ, but the God the Father is not biological. He's not of matter
Yeah,
from
then
our
he's
world.
not alive, because if you agree that life is a biological process, this is, the entire field of biology
I agree
related
that
to
I agree that
life.
biology I agree that biology falls under the category of life, but I don't believe that life equals biology. It's
Do you
like
think
saying that
is there any life that isn't a biological process?
yes, there's spirits and there's demons that exist. Like this is of my belief, God and demons, and there's a whole spiritual realm that the Bible teaches, and they aren't physical and you cannot see them, but uh
Okay.
they
I
they
I
fall
have
under the
no idea
category
what
of
life
living.
means. So can you give me a definition of life that includes
Life
God the
life
Father?
includes something that has willpower and
So plants aren't
it
alive?
no I'm not done, but
Okay.
I was going to say something that can um like has existence and lives is something that definitely has to it has to show some sort of essence. Like I don't know how you'd put it, but it has to it's not something like if you were to put a rock in the category of life, it doesn't have essence, it doesn't have
It does.
I
It has
guess a
rock
goal. It
essence.
no, because rocks don't actually like they don't have a purpose other than they exist, yes, but they don't have a goal, and they don't like if you think about it in the sense of plants are life, which they are. Plants, their goal is to grow and flourish and whatever they
Do you think
so I
computer
think
programs
that
are alive?
no, I think that computer programs are a byproduct of humans, which
But do you think
sorry,
so?
not now.
You're defining life as just anything that has a goal to it. Computer programs, lots of them have goals
Computer
to them.
programs.
For example, you could create like a
No, no, no,
computer
no, no, no.
program that
Computer
takes like all the
programs
data
aren't.
and just like adds it together. That could be the goal of the
I'm
computer program. So you'd have to say that the computer program is alive.
okay. So I'm sorry, sir. I think that the way you interpret computer programs as living is because they are programmed by data.
I don't think it's
Data
living.
is
I think this is a
it's not
bad
living.
definition of life.
Okay, so I'd like to hear your definition of life because I think that it is something that definitely it has to show
Sure.
a
So,
goal.
life is going to be something that has cells or is composed of cells.
Composed of cells.
Yep.
Sir, what would you call something like the parts of like inside a cell? I mean, there's things that live
I
inside a
don't think an
cell that
organelle
have
is alive.
it's not just like I'm
Like
talking of like
I don't think the nucleus is alive. I think it's a part of the cell, but I
no,
think
but
the cell is the life, and the stuff inside of it is not.
so you think that anything with a cell is alive, so then how would you explain the fact that things inside cells or things that are smaller, or I'm not even just talking about cells, I mean like there's other ways to interpret it, but I think that there are other parts that behave exactly like living things that aren't cells. just
I
cells.
mean, yeah, I could create like a
So
robotic dog, but of course I just say that the robotic
no,
dog
no, no,
isn't
no, no, no. I'm not
alive.
saying the robotic dog is alive. The robotic dog was computed and created by humans, which, I mean, it doesn't actually have a goal. It's just the goal is based from humans. Like that is humans that made it, and it has no will. It has no like it's just goes off of scripts, and you can't say something's living off of scripts because um if it's I guess if it's got no will to or goal or anything like that, then it can't be living.
Wait, so but I feel
If
like
it's
we are,
just going by the motions, it's
but
going through the motions is what I'd say. Like,
yeah, wait, but to be clear, wait, so and I think I let us get too far away, but you can't define life, which means that you can't make the claim that life comes from life.
you can't. No, I mean, like, life is definitely something that's hard to define. I think we can both agree on that. Like,
Yeah,
if
then
you
how do
really
you
do think that, if you
I
really do think that
mhm.
it just is something with cells, then that can be very 2D of an argument, and I don't think that you can like, it's more of a, life can be a personal sort of defined word. Like, it's not very
So I
argumentative
would need
to
a
say.
definition. I just need a definition of life that includes God the Father, because there is no definition of life that I can even like begin to fathom that would include God the Father as being
Well,
alive, because life is a biological process and God the Father doesn't have biology.
God the Father, no, he does not have biology, but I don't think that biology defines something that can, make a, like,
What is biology? What's it the study of?
bio biology is the study of life. I understand that. I just said God is part of like, I didn't say God is not of biology. I said that God isn't of matter.
Yeah, but
And I
does he
don't
have
think that he,
biology?
well, honestly, man, I don't think either of us can answer that. Can you answer to me?
No, he
And
doesn't. He's
if you
immaterial.
thought that, if you, exactly. So you can't, so what I'm saying is you can't say that God is under like he's studyable as if the study of matter. You can't study God. He's not of matter. And science is
So then God's not alive.
well, can you tell me what is science? Like, science, both
S-
me and is just taking evidence and studying. We know that,
Well, yeah, so it's just
right?
coming to conclusions, the
It's
most
coming to
reasonable
conclusions.
conclusion based
Exactly.
on the consensus of evidence.
Exactly. So back to my main argument. I mean, we both can't prove that, God can be either studyable or he is of life because, well, I can say with evidence that he's of life, but I
What's
can't
the
say for
evidence? What's the
certain.
evidence that he's of life?
Okay, so I'd like to, if I were to go for that argument, God is there's many miraculous events in the Bible. I mean, it states many times these, God the Father came down as Jesus, and he was historically documented to be living, and he even spoke. Jesus Christ spoke to God the Father through prayers, through
Wait, but I thought God the
many
Father
ways.
came
God came
down. I thought
down.
he came
Yes,
down
he came
as
down.
Jesus. So how
He
could he
came
come
down as
down as
Jesus.
Jesus and then talk to himself?
Well, that's the Trinity. If you'd like me to explain the Holy Trinity,
Yeah,
I could
please,
actually.
because
It's a
that doesn't
very
make any
interesting.
sense.
I know it's it's actually very interesting. It's hard for me to comprehend as I'm still learning much about it. But the whole idea of the Trinity is God is three in one. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the belief that we have as Christians is that God and Jesus was the Son of God. He was, um, he is he's not the same uh, in the sense of he's not of this world, because Jesus is came down as a human, but God is, like, it's of a different form. It's God in his human form who came down, and they are all three in one because they all possess the same power of be like they are God, but it's just God came down and he has
Wait,
three.
so let's say I have like three construction workers, all of them have like the same powers as each other. They can all do the same construction work. Does that mean that they're all the same person?
No,
Oh,
not at
cool.
all.
Wait, so then them having the same power doesn't make them the same person.
Well, you have to think of the fact that it's not of God's powers that make him the same. It's the fact that Jesus Christ and God are one because God came down and he made himself human. He didn't. It's like saying a construction worker was all one construction worker in three different forms. Like, that's very hard to contemplate, but
Wait, okay.
it's
So I'm a person, you're a person, Danny is a person. We would have three people. Jesus is God, the Father is God, the Holy Spirit is God. We would have three gods. It's just basic
no,
counting.
it's
One, two,
one.
three.
Yeah, I know. The fact that they all are the same, and they all no one it's God in different forms, I think, is the only way you could really put it simply, because there's so much. I
Whoa,
mean,
no, that's actually heresy. That's called modalism. It's heresy.
sorry, what'd you say?
That's heresy. It's called
What,
modalism. It's
saying that
heresy.
God is different form, comes in different
Yeah, that
forms?
God is three different form. That it's just different. It's three different forms of God. That's heresy. Yeah.
No, that's like, it's the
Wait. So
fact
how
that
can he?
God
How can
is
God exist in
he
two
is
different
God.
forms at the same time?
Jesus is God, and how can God exist in three? He's not of this world. I mean, we know this.
Yeah, wait,
Like,
but
from
how
my
can he?
definition
Because when
that I
something
always
takes, so let's say that we have a puddle. The puddle takes the form of being like the puddle. Sometimes it gets like frozen. Sometimes it gets evaporated. It can't be the puddle and also be the frozen puddle at the same time. Like, so there's like a time
yes.
issue here that Jesus or so God couldn't be the Son and also the Father at the same time. But clearly they did exist at the same time, which means that the Trinity would be nonsensical.
So I'm sorry. This is a nonsensical argument, because the fact that God, I mean, if you were to think of something that created the entire universe, can't become more than one. Like, he can't. That's a very
Do you
dumb
have a
argument,
critique other
because
than nonsensical? I think it's quite
it's a very
sensical.
2D based argument,
Then give a
because
critique of it.
you're thinking of God as a physical being, which he's not of this world, as I've said many times, and I don't know how it
We
doesn't
can
get
take like
through. But
a non-physical thing. I'm not sure what non-physical thing. I don't know.
what
Like,
there's
I guess like, you know. So let's take a non-physical thing like a variable in
okay, give me an
mathematics, like
example.
x.
Give me an
So
example.
let's say x equals 1. This is non-physical. If x equals 1, can x equal 2 at the same time?
X isn't X. I'm sorry. This is a
So x can take
very
the form of 1 or
bad
2,
example.
but it can only do 1 at the same time. It can't take x can either equal
X is
1
I don't
or
think
x can
you
equal
understand
2.
that variables are the representation of just a number that can be filled in
Yeah,
to that number,
yep,
right?
I do. But this is a
So X
non-physical
isn't
thing that
X
also
if
holds
X
the point I'm trying to demonstrate.
X is 1. Okay, I'm sorry. Why are we doing math? If X equals 1, X equals 1. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
so it doesn't equal
because
2.
I'm not saying that mathematics are God. That's stupid. Like,
But
that's
so it's another thing that is immaterial because your problem was like, well, that's a physical thing, so I
well,
gave
I
you a
don't know if you knew
non-physical
this.
thing that also disproves your point.
Mathematical equations are of this world. Again, like, I don't know.
Is
That's
1
not a
plus
good
1 equal to
example of.
2 to God?
I honestly, dude, I don't know why you're comparing mathematics to God. This is really bad.
I like the
Like,
fact that you can't explain the Trinity in any like coherent way is probably pretty
I just
indicative that
told
it's
you it's God.
nonsense.
It's God in both human form and his spiritual form, and God the Father.
So at the exact same time, is it the same person?
Yes,
Oh, okay,
it's the
wait.
same
So
person. It's the
if it's
same
the same
person. Yes.
person, then why did Jesus pray to himself?
See, this is, I think it's something that Catholics, well, I'm a Catholic, Christians used. The fact that God or Jesus prayed to God was because Jesus, he came down as a humble human, and he still had many powers, but he demonstrated to us through the Bible that even God himself had to pray to, or Jesus, the Son of God, had to pray to his Father to get
But it's
through
the
the
same
pains
person.
of this world. Yes, it's the
It,
pains. It's the same person, but I think the Trinity is best explained through the fact that God, or Jesus, the Son of God, he still humbled himself, and by doing that, he needed to pray to his Father for help.
but it's the same
That's
person.
Yes, it's the same person. God
So
humbled himself.
if
He made himself. He didn't come down as a rich king who controlled the entire world. He came down as a humble human being who couldn't. He could, if he wanted to, do literally anything, but he humbled himself so that he could die for our sins. And if he did, and he tried to fulfill, or he fulfilled the prophecy by doing that, and that saved us all.
does a person
And I
have the
think,
same mind as themselves?
sorry, does the person who
Does a
what
person have the same mind as themselves?
does the person have the same mind? It's their mind.
Is
Yes, they have.
yes. Okay, wait.
If are you
So
saying
if
like, do I have my own
so if
mind? Is that what you're
Jesus's
saying?
mind is God's mind, then why would Jesus need to ask God for advice? Wouldn't he just already know?
Jesus is mine. Yes. Well, here's the thing. God God knows everything to ever happen, but he doesn't control what's going to happen. We still have free will. Jesus, if he wanted to,
I don't know. What do you
could
think
have
you're
done
responding
literally
to?
anything. What do you
What
mean?
argument do you think you're responding
Sir,
to?
I think the best way to put it is that God knew. I'm responding to the question you just asked, by the way. Um I think the best way to put it is to think of it like this. I know that you're going to breathe, but I didn't make you breathe. God knew what was going to happen for the whole history of time from beginning to end. And he let free will happen. And in that, Jesus had free will, so he still had to, or he made the choice that he wouldn't I guess he wouldn't force down anything of what's going to happen. So he wouldn't make himself he wouldn't make other people or God give him all these powers so that he could just know what's going to happen. I think
Okay, that's not
it's
my
truly
argument.
okay. Let's
My argument is not about foreknowledge and free will. My argument has nothing to do with free will. That's to do with the
yes, it
Trinity
does.
and
Sir,
minds. That if
you said if God, or if Jesus prayed to the Father, then how could he like, why did he is the same mind, why would he pray to the Father? I think that's because, he knew everything that's going to happen, but he chose to humble himself and didn't make, I guess, like, everything happen the way, like, he didn't choose the way things were going to go.
wait, so is there three minds in the Trinity, or is it one mind?
Three minds, and God isn't, like, he doesn't have a mind, he doesn't have a physical mind.
Well, no, but just like a mind at all.
Is there a mind at all? Like, do you mean, is there one thought, one thinker, like one ultimate person to I don't understand your question, because
So
this
wait,
could
do you
be
not
interpreted.
understand God? So how does God, if God isn't physical, then how does he experience love?
How
If
does
God doesn't
God
have a mind,
experience
then how
love?
does he, and where does he
Well,
feel love?
the fact that God gave this free will, if you were to think of it like God made us all
You are not
robots,
answering
we
the
would not.
question. You need to
I am
answer the
about to get
question.
there, sir. You are
Get to it
so
quicker.
okay. I'm sorry. This is very um if you don't have free will, you can't love. Can you love a rock just because, or can you love your teddy bear just because you make it hug you? No, that's like, I'm sure you can have emotional attraction to it, but you can't, it doesn't show you love. Your teddy bear doesn't show you love. So if you were to actually give your teddy bear a real a mind and a free will and all that, a purpose, and then it can actually show you love and you can experience that love. That's how God feels love, because we
Yeah.
have the choice to love him or not. And the fact that
What
people,
do you think my argument, or what do you think my question was?
your question was, how does God experience love? That was your
No,
question.
okay, wait. So maybe you're confused. Where
Sir,
is the
that's what
love
you
that?
said.
Hold on. Yeah, I think but you're confused regardless. So I'll clarify the question for you.
Okay.
Where is
Okay.
the love that God loves us with located?
Where is the love that God loves us with located? Sorry.
Yeah, where is the love that God loves us with located?
I don't know that, sir. I don't think anyone knows that.
It's most Christians would say that it's in his mind.
God doesn't have a mind. He's not physical.
Then if he doesn't have a mind, then he's not a person.
He's not a human being. God is not a human being. I never said
I'm not
that.
saying that. It's just that he's
Jesus
not.
Christ
He
was a
wouldn't. He
human.
wouldn't
Sorry.
qualify as like.
God, Jesus
He's
was
not
the Son of
thinking.
God.
He's not
He was the human
intelligent.
being. Jesus
Wait.
Christ
Oh my
was the
God.
seed.
Wait. How
Are we
can
talking
God
the
be?
Father?
Yeah, God the Father. Yes.
Yes. So God the Father wasn't physical, but I truly, as a humble human being, I don't think, sir, none of us can prove the fact that God has a physical mind or can
I'm
think
not
like that,
saying a non-physical
or
mind.
can
I've said
locate.
this like
But
3
you're asking me to
times.
locate. You're asking me to locate where his spiritual, where God
Where
feels
his
love.
mental
I'm not
processes
God.
occur.
I'm not God, and the Bible
Presumably
doesn't
his
exactly
mental
say where
processes
his.
occur in his mind.
I'm sorry, like it's
Okay.
hard for me to understand where
How
that
can God
is.
know things if he doesn't have a mind?
What? I just told you, like he's not he's not of this world, dude. Like he
How can
doesn't.
God know things if he doesn't have a mind?
Not all things that know, like you don't have to have a
Give
mind,
literally
says
one
the
example.
Bible.
Give literally one
No, I'm
example.
not. I said the Bible doesn't say you have to have a mind, and God didn't. It doesn't say that God, the Father, had a mind. That's at least what the Bible
Yeah, wait,
teaches.
but we can infer that he has a mind based on the fact that he knows things. How can you know things if you don't have a mind?
No, you can't infer that he has a mind because the
How
Bible
answer the
teaches that he
question? How
doesn't.
can you know things if you don't have a mind?
I just told you can't know things. That's the first thing I said here.
So
You can't prove
God's not all
anything.
knowing?
God is all knowing, yes. I
So
said
God
that
knows
that's what
things.
based off of the evidence that I have, I believe that God is all knowing, but I can't prove that, sir, nor can you.
Okay, so God knows things. Agree or disagree?
Yep, God knows everything. Not
Do you
just
agree that
things.
in order to know something, you must have a mind?
No.
Can you give me the
No, I've
example of
told you
something that
this.
knows things that does not have a mind?
God, the spirits,
Something other than the thing that we're
if I were
currently
to think
debating?
something that knows things, if you want to be really literal, you could say literally Google, but I mean that's not a living thing. So if you want something that's living that knows things, then yes, it has to have a mind from what our physical teaches. But I think that a lot of things, you can't just say that something that created this world, or at least this world, is just based off of what we know already. There could be a lot more that we don't, and that's what the Bible
I have a
told us.
question for you. How do you feel about Romans 11:34? Who has known the mind of the Lord?
No one, because I've just told you that. That's what I've been teaching you this entire time. No one knows the mind of the Lord. And I can't tell you.
But you think God has a mind?
It's a metaphor like that. That's a metaphor.
Oh my God, you're ridiculous.
Unless you're thinking about, if we're talking about God the Father, Jesus Christ had a mind because he was human, obviously. If you're thinking about like a brain, but I think the mind of God is metaphor for God's thoughts and everything like that. So
How do you have thoughts without a mind? What can you give me
I
a
don't know,
definition of
man.
mind?
I don't know, man. How could
Give me a
you
definition of mind.
of mind? Okay. I'll just, for what I've just been saying for the past 30 minutes was just God doesn't have a mind, and
Give me a
like
definition
a
of mind.
physical
Go for it.
mind.
Give me a
I
definition of mind. Go for it.
You give it first, because I truly don't have that off the top of my head.
Yeah, the element of a person that allows them to think and to feel.
their brain.
The
Yeah, okay. So
faculty
you
of
could just say the
consciousness
brain,
and
right?
thought.
So they're the
Not
faculty
not
of
the brain, the
consciousness and
mind,
thought.
because there's lots of
So
brains that
if
don't
you're
have
gonna think,
minds, like
if
the
you're gonna
ones that are
interpret
dead.
it, I think, sir, if you were to interpret it like this, and this is totally going off the rails, I think we can both agree. But the fact that if you were to define the mind as something that has thought, then yes, God has a mind, because you said that a mind is something that interprets thought, and I missed the other part, but
Yes.
right. So
Perfect.
then yes, if you were to define it like that, then yes. But I think if you were to define mind as something like a physical brain, which I think we should have gotten our definitions right earlier. But if you were to
I
define it
made
like
it.
that, then
I've
God
I've
doesn't have a
expressed
mind.
to you at
You
least like
didn't
3 or 4
express. You didn't give me.
times. I
No, no, no.
said
So you didn't give me a
explicitly not a
definition. You didn't
physical
give me a
brain.
definition. I
I said
think.
explicitly not a physical brain, like
I think
multiple
you.
times, like 3 or 4 times.
Not a physical brain. You never. That's at least from what I've been hearing until the very end. You said that. Does God have mind, and then you defined it. So I think this argument is quite it's going nowhere. So
Okay, wait. So does
I
are there 3 minds or just one between God the Father and the Holy Spirit, or the Father,
so
Son, and Holy Spirit?
it's one ultimate. I think, this is really hard for me to understand still, but I think that there's one
One
ultimate
mind or 3?
thinker. One,
Okay.
because they're all one. I really, sir, I can't tell you though. I'm still learning, and I'd hate to give misinformation, so I just can't answer that for you.
So there's a double bind. If it's one mind, then why did Jesus pray to himself if he already knows the answer? And if it's 3 minds, then how can we
So
possibly say that this is
if
that this is one person?
I told you earlier that because God humbled himself, and he made himself
It's still his mind,
powerless
though.
at a certain point. He made
It's still
himself come
his
down to power.
mind.
Yes, yes.
So there's
He's
no need
praying
to
to.
ask your mind. There's no need to pray
Well,
because you already know the answer.
Jesus was showing example to us that even God himself had to pray, because it was prayer is so important that it affects literally um every aspect of our lives if we have a good prayer life. So I think it's just something that he was asking for help from God, because he became so powerless in the fact that he humbled himself.
So he was humbling himself to himself to ask himself for help, and then he received the help
No,
from
no, 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 no.
himself.
He wasn't exactly asking for help in the sense of I need power, because God only, if you didn't know this, he prayed for himself to go through the crucifixion and his death, and he wanted to be willfully powerful, in the sense that like he had the right choice to go through with his own death. So that's why he prayed to himself.
And you think that it makes sense to pray to yourself?
Well, he prayed to God the Father, so his
Who
other
is him?
form.
Whoa, wait,
His
but
other
it's the
form.
same person, right?
Yep.
Wait, so can Superman ask Clark Kent for something?
Superman is not God.
But I'm asking you, does it make sense to say that Superman asked Clark Kent for help?
No. And
Yeah, and it doesn't. So it doesn't.
I'd like
If
to ask you
they're the
if
same
Clark Kent
person, then it
is.
doesn't make sense to say that
Yes,
God the Father asks, or God the Son asks God
God
the
the Father.
Father.
Oh my goodness, sir! Like, this isn't understandable in the terms that we are matter, and God is not matter. He doesn't follow the same principles and rules as us.
Then
It's
God's
like,
nonsense.
God's nonsense. Okay, well,
Yeah,
I'm
he's
sure
illogical.
yeah, you're illogical if you were to think that, for instance, I can't prove that you exist. Like, I can't prove anything for you. I don't even know if you're an AI talking to me right now. Like, that's the sort of thing that I'm talking
Mhm.
about. I can't prove that, right? And that's why I think that you can't say that God isn't one ultimate mind but 3 forms, because you don't experience that realm. Like, he's in a whole other realm.
Okay, gotcha. So then defeating your position is like really, really easy. Can God make a rock does God have the power to make a rock that he doesn't have the power to lift?
if God humbled himself through Jesus Christ, then yes, God can make
No,
himself
without
lift.
without
But
any of the
if
nonsense,
I don't
without
know if you
humbling
knew
himself
this,
through Jesus Christ, does God have the power to make a
Je-
rock that he doesn't have the power to lift?
sir, I truly don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. I mean, there is no answer. There's contradictions no matter what.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank you for the debate. I'm truly sorry about.
Oh my God, dude. I fucking can't. That person was unbelievable. What a time. What an experience. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Let's try to get this all the way up to 100K likes. Damn, I don't know. It was just like crazy, crazy slow. But yeah, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older, you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran, and you have an argument which does not involve personal experience. If you don't meet that requirement, then I'm not going to talk to you. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly dash Ian. Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Both are in my bio. Appreciate any and all support. And with that, we can go to the very next guest. So if you're 18 or older if you're 18 or older and you want to join the community, there's a link to the Discord in my bio. Love to see you there. As we try to get one up on here, in the Discord, we talk politics, religion, philosophy. I'm trying to get into making like a little reading group. So if you're in,
Hey, I'm on here. Look.
hey, do you have headphones?
No.
Okay, wait, is there going to be an echo? Oh, we're chilling. Yeah, how old are you?
23, 2001, 2021.
Daniel, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Cash App. Hail, Daniel. Hail, 666. Hail, Satan. I appreciate it. Big W, Daniel, in the comment section. What religion?
I'm a Christian.
Okay. What's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
Well, I think that we are here like to cross into dimensions. I think that Jesus Christ is real, but I feel like we're here because Jesus Christ went into, he came as a teacher. So I more so think he's a teacher than he is, and in that way he's our savior. But I think
Okay.
dimensions.
Gotcha. So let me get this straight. So you're saying that God is real because he's real and he came down as our teacher? Is that correct?
No, not God, Jesus Christ, his son.
You don't think Jesus is God?
No.
So you reject the Trinity?
I'm a Christian, but I was a Catholic before. That's what I was born and raised as a Catholic, and they believe in the Trinity, I think. I'm not really sure. The Christianity, I don't go to church. I am a Christian, but I don't believe in the Trinity, no.
So you don't think that Jesus is God?
I think he's his son. I think we're all the same people. We're just going into dimensions.
Blasphemy? This is like, you're going to be going straight to super hell if Christianity is true. This is like fundamentally blasphemous.
I don't believe in that either. I don't believe in hell. I don't think that's real.
Okay, so you don't really believe in the Bible, you believe in...
I do believe in the Bible. I just don't believe that God and Jesus are the same person. I believe that's his son.
Okay, so what's the evidence that God is real, though?
I wish I had the evidence. I just wanted to come on here and say that I wish somebody could come on here and debate you and have some kind of evidence, because I'm like, everything that you say is you're backing it up and everything, but nobody seems to have anything other than their faith. So I think we're here in dimensions. We're going to go to another dimension after this when we die, and we're going to try again. And we're going to just keep going and going and going.
What?
That's just what I think. That's what I think is going to happen when we die.
Do you think we reincarnate?
I think so. And to anything, frogs, trees, everything.
Okay, if reincarnation is real, can you give me a reason why murder is wrong?
Why murder is wrong?
Yeah, why would it be wrong if reincarnation is real?
I definitely think murder is wrong, but
Why?
reincarnation is just something that I believe is happening. It's just something that seems to fit how we are here, and we keep it. Just, we don't remember dying. We don't remember existing. We just don't remember ever not existing.
Yeah, wait, so then why is like murder wrong?
Because you're taking someone's life.
No, but no, you're not, right? Because they just get reincarnated. So why would that be wrong?
Because it feels wrong. Unless if you're doing it for joy. I mean, if you're killing someone that came into your house, that's different.
Like, what if it doesn't feel? Yeah, what if it doesn't feel wrong? What if you're like Jack the Ripper and it feels great?
No, that's wrong. And reincarnation is not murder, because that person is not thinking that they're going to get reincarnated. That's what I believe in.
But what if they did? What if Jack the Ripper believed in reincarnation? Would that make it all okay?
No. He has
What if all of
will.
his victims believed in reincarnation too? Would that make it all okay?
I don't think they even know that they were his victims. They're not there thinking, hey, I'm going to not get killed, I'm going to get killed, or they're not thinking.
Yeah, but if they thought that reincarnation was real, then like why would it be wrong for them to be killed?
Because they have a bad intention to kill that person.
Oh, no, it's not, because you can just say that the intention isn't bad because all they're doing is sending them to the next cycle of reincarnation.
I know, but that's what you're saying. You're saying that. But how do they know that?
Because if they believe in reincarnation,
Yeah, but how do you know that that's what I told you I believed in? You'd have to find somebody who actually believes what I just said.
yeah, wait, so would it be wrong for somebody to kill you?
If they had a bad intention, yeah, of course.
What if they didn't? What if they knew that you believed in reincarnation?
I don't think anyone should go around killing anyone, but I think, in my opinion, just from what I've seen and observed from everything that's happening, I feel like we are going to come back as something. That's what I feel that is happening on the
Yeah,
planet.
that's fine. But the conclusion to me is just that Schmurder is not wrong if we're all just going to be reincarnated. I just don't know why Schmurder would be wrong.
It is wrong because you might not want to be reincarnated as a tree. I mean, maybe you like your life right now.
Oh, wait, so if somebody had like a miserable life, would it be okay to murder them?
No, I'm never going to agree with anybody should murder anyone unless they go into their house or it's like self-defense or something. But
Yeah, but I mean, if they believe in reincarnation and their life is like bad now, then presumably you get them like a better life.
I think that God does exist, and God is the universe. What you're saying makes all the sense in the world because you're really intelligent. You're an intellectual, and I'm not even on a scale of 1 to 10 as intelligent as you are.
Oh, don't say that. That's sad.
Well, it's the truth. I wish I could tell you something, and you say no personal stuff, which is, that's a good point, because once you get personal, it's like, okay, well, that's you. You said that, But when you try to say something, and you come back twice as fast. So I'm not that fast. I can't,
Oh,
come
okay.
back with something and tell you.
No, it's fine. Well, I appreciate you coming on up. I'll probably move on to the next guest, though. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, trying to get this in front of as many people as we can. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older, that you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran, and you have an argument which does not involve personal experience. What's up? How's it going, JKT?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 21.
And what religion?
No religion, just belief.
In Jesus, or?
Jesus Christ. I believe
Okay,
that.
so you're Christian.
I
Okay.
believe that the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit is all three in one. And yes, for those wondering that if Jesus is God, yes, he is. And I'm
Okay,
not
so-
saying I wasn't always a believer,
Oh, wait. But I'm sorry. What's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
What's your strongest
Ooh,
argument
there's
for
an
the
echo.
Besides,
Ooh.
it's cutting off. It's cutting off.
Yeah, it's like a.
What's your strongest
Fuck.
argument for the
Oh, okay. Sorry, the echo got too bad. I'm just gonna move on to the next one. If you're in that guest request box, make sure you're 18 or older, you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran, and you have an argument which does not involve personal experience. What's up, Moto? How's it going? Moto Racing, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, and what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
Well, I grew up going to Bible school and then I kind of lost my belief for a while.
That sounds like a personal experience. So, do you have?
And just, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it is personal, but not too personal. And just,
Okay. Why should somebody else think that God is real? Do you have any argument for why that?
I mean, my only argument is like, where would life have came from if God isn't real?
Well, all the evidence seems to point to a process called abiogenesis, where the first cells emerged out of various organic compounds.
See, I love science, and I've been a big science believer, and I never understood how like just cells can emerge into life without any help.
Well, cells are alive.
Yeah,
They emerge, so cells are alive and they emerge into multicellular organisms via cell reproduction. They split apart.
I understand that. But I just, like, I don't know, there's been so many different theories on how people have evolved into human beings as we are now. And I just feel, there's no way that could have happened without any sort of help.
No way that, oh, okay. So do you believe in evolution?
No, I believe in evolution. I believe in God. I believe in science. I believe in everything. And I mean, I
Okay.
believe God gave us the ability to learn science for a reason.
Okay, so if we all came here through evolution, why would God choose such a brutal process? Evolution only works via the mass slaughtering of a wide variety of animals. That it's an extremely unmerciful process. So how could God do evolution if evolution involves like so much killing?
That's called balance. You can't have light without darkness. You can't have happiness without sadness. I mean,
Do you
I
think
feel
unnecessary suffering is bad?
unnecessary suffering is no. I mean,
You don't think unnecessary suffering is bad?
I think it's bad, but I mean, you don't need to suffer for no reason.
Yeah, so what's the reason that all these like animals had to suffer during evolution, during like the long process that eventually ended with us here? There's certain animals that literally only survive by unaliving a massive number of animals.
See, to me, that's where science comes in. That's where you get trial and error.
That's not an answer to the question. Why would God choose to make things that survive only via the process of like tearing other things apart?
Trial and error.
Why would God endorse such brutality?
Nobody's perfect, not even God is.
Oh, that's blasphemy.
That's blasphemy for somebody who doesn't believe in God.
Yeah, wait, do you want I'd be happy to, do you want like a verse that says that God's perfect?
Oh no, I've read the whole damn Bible.
Okay, so it says that God is perfect. It says,
No.
uh,
Yeah, I mean,
Psalms 18:30, this God, his way is perfect, the word of the Lord proves true.
When I went to church, I never believed in that God is perfect because not even God himself is perfect.
So you reject, what is this? You reject Matthew 5:48 that says your heavenly Father is perfect. So you reject that.
Yeah, I do reject that.
Okay, well, I'm really only looking to discuss with people who believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran. You clearly don't believe in any of those, so I'm just going to move on to the next guest. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Drop a follow if you're enjoying the debates. Let's try to get this live in front of as many people as we can. Let's try to get it all the way up to 125,000 likes. And if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older, believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran, and have an argument which does not involve personal experience. If you want to support the stream, Venmo and Cash App are in my bio. And with that, we'll go to the next guest. What's up? How's it going?
Hello, yes. I was just briefly listening, so I guess...
Ooh, are you driving?
No, I'm not driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
And what religion?
I'm Muslim.
Okay. What's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
You know, like, when we talk about God, of course, it's not into a particular religion, but, when you actually think about God, you doubt that there might be a God, that is conscious and who created the universe. And my strongest argument is basically, the dominant, the word is created by a lot of motion, you know what I mean? And this motion cannot go to infinite. It has to be like in a word which was still, and then things started.
Wait, why can't it be infinite?
Because mathematically, negative infinity is impossible for the motion. This
Why?
is science. Because it's impossible. Why something was still for 1,000,000 years and then it just moved?
What if it was moving for all of this time?
That's impossible.
Why?
That's what I'm. Well, there is actually a mathematical equation that actually says that motion, the domino effect cannot be infinite. It has
Why?
to start.
I disagree.
How something is okay. Let's just put it this way: if something moving today and something moved it yesterday, it can't keep going. It can't be. It can like it doesn't it did not start, but it's moving. It's impossible.
Well, yeah, wait, so it's just been moving forever?
No, that's impossible. That's it. And this is the one argument. The second argument is
Wait, wait. Your argument, your counter argument is literally just not Do you have a substantive reason why an infinite regress is not possible?
It's impossible. Well, explain it.
Do you have like a Yeah, so there's a day before today, and there was a day before then, and there was a day before then, and there was a day before then, and then there's like days leading back to the Big Bang, but there's still time that existed before the Big Bang.
How long can you go back in time?
Infinitely.
Infinitely.
Yep. How far back can you go on the number line?
Well, that's some people. This is a different argument about time. Some people they say, you know what, time is just one moment. It goes back and forward in time. It's completely, I know it's kind of confusing, but what I'm saying is the motion, the word is created by motion, and the electrons move. And even the scientists, they estimate that the electron and the atoms, they have a lifespan, which is 14 billion years. So in 14 billion years, all these atoms and all these things will just fade away.
I have no idea. I have no idea whether or not that's true, but regardless, I could just hold that because matter isn't conserved. Energy is, so I can just hold that energy or that all this matter came from a very complex energy process.
Matter is energy. The energy is matter.
Energy is a property of matter. Double down. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
The energy creates matter. It's basically when you look at the atom and all this energy, that's what makes a physical thing physical. When you touch a wall, you're not really touching the wall. It's an energy. Everything is an energy, and that energy has to start. And they can actually estimate that in 14 billion years, that energy is going to fade away. So we need an argument about time. You can't go for zillions of years, so that would be synthetic.
Wait, you literally haven't demonstrated why. Okay, wait. So no, atoms do not.
I mean, you can. Well, it's the same thing. You have to demonstrate.
No, wait, that's not true. Wait, atoms don't die in 14 billion years. That's not true. I looked it up.
Where you looked it up in ChatGPT or?
No, according to the Natural History Museum.
Oh, Natural History Museum. Okay, what does it say? Does it have a lifespan?
Yeah, it says that atoms don't die. Well, it just says that they don't die in 14 billion years.
Well, does it have a lifespan?
We can look it up. Lifespan of atoms.
Yeah. I mean, all the audience could look it up too.
Yeah. Infinite lifespan.
That's impossible.
Okay, so you disagree with science education of the Jefferson Lab?
No, I mean there is a lot of scientific. Probably you looked up what. Let me look it up too while I'm talking.
Yeah, so this is how long is the lifespan of an atom from education.jlab.org. I'll read the paragraph. Ultimately, even these stable atoms have a limit imposed on the lifetime of a proton. Remember, though, that the best estimates of the present age of the universe is the much smaller number of 10 to the 10th years. So for all practical purposes, atoms are forever. While we're waiting for the guest to return, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends.
Look, when it comes to physics, there is a lot of...
Yeah, you probably do want to move past that point quickly, yeah.
No, we can move past it, but there is another...
I imagine.
Which is... No, it's not... Look, we don't have really time for
Yeah,
correct
you
answer
don't
from
have time
ChatGPT.
to concede that you were wrong about that. Yeehaw! Thank you so much, Sarah.
No, it's that's one point, which is, and another thing is the purity of matter, which basically what it means. I'll explain. I'll explain. Allow me to explain, because this is a very long philosophical argument that's been since the Greeks. And what it means by purity of atom, the matter, is that the word is compounded, is mounted. When you look at the atom, it's put together. So it can't be moving forever, and it was put at some time together. How did it happen? You know what I mean? Like electrons just found themselves running around the positive energy or negative energy, and it just happened. Don't ask me how it happened, but it keeps going forever.
Wait, do you understand
There is
that
a,
atoms
there
are
is a
are
logic
constantly
argument.
changing, that they're constantly in flux, that they decay, that they form into larger
Who,
structures all of the time, that they
you
lose
talking about
electrons, gain
atoms?
electrons, do all sorts of stuff? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I'm aware of it. Like, the steel oxidize, which is F26, that can give you even the formula.
Yeah, sure. So I have no idea what you mean by the purity
But
of
but
matter when
here,
matter is constantly changing.
it's constantly changing. That's what I'm talking about. Something that change, something that change cannot go forever.
Why
Something
not?
that's been forever, that's just a mathematical, logical thing. It's been changing when it was not changing. So it can't be. It's impossible.
Okay,
Where
that's
did it
fine.
get all this energy?
That's fine. So I can just run the quantum eternity theorem at you. So according to the quantum eternity theorem, which is derived from the Schrodinger's equations, the fundamental basis of quantum physics, the universe is eternal.
How did we do an experiment 100 times? According to the scientific method, did somebody lived a million internal
Princess
life?
Leia,
And
thank you so much.
yeah, I
No,
mean,
it's according to the quantum eternity theory, or it's according to it's a derivative of the Schrodinger's equations. They essentially model like change in the universe over time, and it indicates that insofar as there's a non-zero amount of energy in the world, that
you
the
know,
universe has always been changing.
like if we consider our time, since we've been observing the universe, which is, I would say, science probably we are like, real science probably started 200 years ago. Of course, we had science for long. But these 200 years, it's not even a second in a million year. We have no idea, man.
Wait, but you were just appealing to science earlier. I thought so. First of all, when you were appealing to science, you were like, "Well, we definitely know for sure. This is definitely the lifespan of atoms. There's a mathematical equation. It proves it. I promise, it proves it." But now you're like, "We don't know anything about
No,
science.
no, no.
Who's to say?
Well,
How can we make any claims about science? Are you kidding?
no. I mean,
Do you believe that we
no.
should
You're
rely
saying
on
it's
science or
you're saying it's
not?"
forever. You say no. I'm just saying. It's. I'm not trying to be like having the double standard here, but to say that you are accurate and for sure it's not going to change, and the matter been changing forever, and suddenly, we popped out here. It's impossible.
You didn't
I'm not
care
saying
about
that there is a
this.
God. Maybe look. I'm not saying that the religion guide, that we have Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and all that. It's probably the possible God. I'm just saying that there might be a conscious thing that actually is responsible for the universe.
But so okay, wait. Because you were citing explicitly, you were citing the fact that like facts about like atoms. You were trying to cite facts about like the lifespans of atoms, 14 billion years. Didn't bother
Yeah.
you that nobody's
I mean,
existed
I
for
don't look
14
right
billion
now,
years?
Bart.
That didn't bother
I don't
you.
have time,
Didn't
but I'm
bother
very
you
sure.
that science might change. None of that bothered you when
Yeah.
you were
Well,
citing
listen.
science. But as soon as I
Yeah.
start citing science, now you have all of these objections to the use of science. You have a double standard.
No, it's not. It's not. We say in the logic. Just look up the domino effects, and if it can go
I'm
infinity forever.
aware with the. Do
Just
you mean
look
like
it
the
up.
butterfly
Yeah, just look up
effect?
there is a mathematical equation. It says is impossible. It's just impossible. It doesn't.
Wait, what's the name of this equation?
There is a book actually about infinity. You can just look it up. I'm not really. I
Yeah,
don't have all
what's the name of the book
sources.
about infinity?
There is one book actually which is discussed the zero and the meaning of the infinity and how
What's the name of
because
the
the
book?
concept. I'm not really sure.
You gotcha.
But
So your argument, just so everyone's aware, is trust me, bro. It's in a book whose name I can't tell you.
I'm not saying, well, the same thing. I mean, do you have any argument that, that the domino effects will go forever? Do you have any
Yeah,
books?
I
You are the
do.
only one
Yep, I
who's
do.
asking for arguments. You come in and
Yeah,
you say, hey, there is nothing. And if you say
yeah.
something, if you
I
have
can
any
give you the
proof,
argument. Are you interested in the argument?
yeah, I'm interested. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's go for it. Premise one: beginning is a change of states. Premise two: a change of states
What is the
requires a
beginning?
What?
What is the beginning?
Just like the start of something, that there's a
How
change,
did it start?
that the thing existed, or I guess like coming into existence is a change of states.
I mean, it's changed into a state. So what triggered it to start?
So this is a reductio. I'm proving why this is not the case, why it didn't start in the first place. But do
No,
you
no, I'm just
agree?
saying. But
Hold on. Do you agree that
yeah.
that a beginning or that coming into existence is a change of states?
What is that coming to an existence?
So in state
Where
one, the
did it
thing
come
doesn't
from existence?
exist. Doesn't matter. This is true of all things that come into existence. Do you agree
But
that?
this is what I can't
Hold
comprehend.
on. I need you to either agree or disagree with the premise. Are you
Okay, go
going to be
ahead.
able to do that?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
The where literally doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Why it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter for
It
you. What is
doesn't
for you?
matter
That's
because
what's for me.
it's a general rule about things coming into existence. Do you agree that if
Okay.
a thing comes into existence, that there's a change of states in reality?
No, I don't agree that things just come to
Can you give
existence
me
on its
an
own.
example of wait, hold on. Can you give me an example of a thing that came into existence but there was no change in states?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You're just being
Give me an
biased in this
example.
argument.
Give me an
If things
example.
change,
Give
look,
me an
anything
example.
that
Give
changed
me an
with
example.
decay.
Give
I
me an
give you for
example. Yeah, give me an
look,
example.
the example of what? If you can just
Yeah, an example of a thing that came into existence but there was no change in reality.
and change in the matter or in
In
reality.
all of reality. No change in all of reality. Something that came into
This is
existence but there
beyond
was
me.
no
This question is
change.
something that came in existence and there is no change to that thing or to the whole
To
reality.
all of reality. That reality was identical. A thing came into existence but reality was identical. Can you give me the example?
You lost me here. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Can you?
gotcha. It's because the premise is obviously true. It's because the premise that that coming into existence is a change of states, that's just obviously true. It's self-evident. Because otherwise, if it's not a change of states, then that means the state would be identical. That something beginning, like if there was the start of the race is identical to the moment before the race started, that's not true. So obviously that if something comes into existence, then there's a change of states in reality.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Why there is a change?
Yeah, wait, so you agree with the first premise. Do you agree that a change of states requires a sequence of states? Trey, thank you so
Well,
much.
it
Appreciate it.
requires existence, come into
Oh,
existence.
okay. Can you give me the change of states that doesn't have a sequence of states?
Well, yeah, it's I'm the whole argument. I'm
What,
not agreeing to come into existence. Look, if it comes to
can
existence, yeah,
you
we can
give me
discuss
the
the change of state.
example? Can you give me the example of a thing that is a change of states that doesn't require a sequence of states?
Like it does change, but it doesn't require a sequence, right?
Yeah, the thing that non-sequentially changes
Like in matter, in physics, right? Like metals.
in anything.
I can give you an example, like when things change. Like the matter does change when there is a chemical, equation. They do change,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's we're not
Yeah,
talking about.
so let's say that it goes from we have like water and then the water gets boiled. So there's a sequence of
Uh-huh.
states here that we go from the water not boiled to the water boiled. It follows sequentially.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Let's talk about how
Wait. No,
atom
you need
is
to wait because I'm not getting off of this. Wait, so do
Yeah,
you
okay.
So can you give me an example? Are you ready to accept the premise and stop being so bad faith? Or do you want to give me an example of a change of states that does not involve a sequence of states?
Most of the things on this word, they have a liquid state, a gas state, and a solid state. Like for example, steel can be gas if it's under extreme heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything has a liquid state, a solid state, and a gas state.
What do you think I'm asking you
And
for?
I have no idea. You
Okay.
lost me. Maybe your
Gotcha.
logic is beyond me. But
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you, whether you're with God or against God.
Wait, you need to run to a new thing now. You need to grandstand. You lost on the
No,
argument, and now you need to
This
grandstand.
argument. Look, my whole argument about this is things cannot pop to existence. It can't be still and then
I'm
start
demonstrating to you
And if
why
it's-
the
and if
universe has
it's-
always existed. I don't think that things popped into existence. I think the universe has always existed.
Well, look, according to the stuff that I've been looking, and I'm a big enthusiast for physics, and done some chemistry, and from what I know is atoms have a lifespan and they do go away.
Nope.
Even though-
Can you give me one source?
The atom does look, there is a charge.
Give me the source.
You know that there is a charge in the atom.
Give me the
It's-
source that says that atoms have a lifespan. Give me the source.
You know what? Yeah.
I already gave you the source saying that they don't have a lifespan.
You went to Chat GPT and you picked the
I
first
didn't. Wait.
one.
Okay. Wait. Want to bet?
Because you read exactly the same thing I was reading.
Clearly not.
Yeah, well, while you were reading it, I was looking at it.
Okay. I can just I can literally physically show the source if you want to be a lying Larry.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Yeah.
Show
Let's just check out the source together.
me. Okay.
The exact source that I read off of. Ultimately, even these stable atoms have a limit imposed by the lifetime of protons. Remember, though, that the best estimate of the present age of the universe is the much smaller 10 to the 10th years. So, for all practical purposes, atoms are forever.
Yeah, but forever probably with the concept.
The fact that I didn't just go to ChatGPT.
But you didn't. Yeah, it's okay. I would
Okay,
concede
that's fine.
that. Yeah. So let me ask here. 1 second. You know what? I don't want to get off the screen and get back. You know what? According to logic, nothing can just pop up and keep changing.
Yeah, I don't think that it came from.
It is. Look, there is that. However, there is that possible word.
That's not my position. I don't believe
That
that.
possible word will dictate that there will be a word where there is no movement in it, and that word could be forever.
No, I don't think
once
so.
there is a
I think that the universe has just always been changing. It's always existed. The universe didn't pop into existence. It didn't have a start. It was always existing.
That's too hard to comprehend.
I don't think so.
Well, anyway, it's been a nice discussion. Maybe another time. I'll get on and probably I'll come prepare for you. Okay.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on
Have
up.
a-
Make sure you're double tapping on that screen if you're enjoying the debates. Make sure you're dropping a follow so you never miss one in the future. You'll learn lots of cool things, learn all these bad faith debate tactics. But keep on double tapping that screen. Let's get to 150K likes. Try to get this in front of as many people as we can. Share it with your friends. Do all those good, hearty, fun things. You should double tap that screen. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older, you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran, and you have an argument which does not involve personal experience. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Both are in my bio. And if you want to join the community, you're 18 or older, there's a link to the Discord in my bio. It's discord.gg/allegedly-Ian. I'd love to see you there. Hey, what's up? How's it going? I accept your surrender. Folded like a chair, scrambled like an omelet, reformatted like a hard drive, get your ankles absolutely shattered. This person's telling me that I need a looks max. I wonder if this person would be interested in a debate. Where is this person? I gotta send them an invite. Damn, where is that? Oh yeah, okay, there it is. Yeah, okay. Well, the invite's sent. Show up or don't, little bro. It's up to you. You gotta be philosophy. Well, you were out there looks maxing. I was philosophy maxing, but I expect you'll pipe down now. Oh wait, this other person showed up. Hold on. Hey, what's up? How's it going? How old are you?
I did.
Yeah. Do you have an argument for why God is real, or is this question gonna trigger you? Do you have an argument for why God is real?
Nah, but...
Gotcha. Okay, I can ask you a question. So, if God is real, why would he give us the anatomy to get cancer?
What do you mean? It's free will. It's probably created by some... You like mosquitoes. They weren't created, were they?
Well, I don't think anything was created, but where do you think mosquitoes came from?
It's like certain things that harm you. Like roses developed to grow thorns to protect themselves from things by Satan. It's not written in the Bible God created it. All the bad things created by Satan.
Oh, wait, does Satan have the power of creation?
Why do you think things have to defend themselves?
Wait, does Satan have the power of creation?
It's like the same.
Does
it's like
Satan
saying,
have...
why is some guy gonna come shoot me in the street?
Does Satan have the power of creation?
Why? Yeah, no, he doesn't. But why?
Oh, then so if Satan doesn't have the power of creation, then how could he create mosquitoes if he didn't have the power of creation?
Power is evil. Things spawning.
He doesn't have the power of creation. So if Satan doesn't have the power of creation, then he can't create things. But Satan did create things, which means that he must have had the power of creation.
Oh, mate, it was this woman on about. I just said that. You're on about putting it in the thing.
Do you want to engage with the arguments, or do you want to do more like British mumbling?
British mumbling. You sound like a girl.
British mumbling.
You got any testosterone in your body?
Wait, who do you think is a deeper voice between me or you?
Me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'll just let the audience be the judge of that.
Your audience are all... I'd like to see these people in person. Guaranteed. No,
wait,
guaranteed
can we get
none of those people.
Would you mind camming up?
Nah, not on this account, because what I post.
Oh, you probably do a lot of fash posting, don't you?
Nah, I do a lot of nature posts.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait. So we still got to go back to the argument though, because your worldview is nonsense. So
nah, I'm not even gonna. You know, you can't.
Running.
You don't believe. Then
you're running.
No, I'm just saying. Like, you don't believe. Why have you got to sit on live, mocking it to other people? I'd like to see you do this about Muslims. I'd like to see
Muslims
you do it about
Muslims. I just debated a Muslim. The last guy was Muslim.
Yeah, I know. But why are you putting God isn't real? Why are you not putting Allah isn't real?
You know.
Sure.
Do you know what Allah means? Allah.
Yeah.
What does that translate to?
Muhammad. Yeah, we know. But
no, Allah does not mean Muhammad. No, good try.
I'm running. You know what? I'm going gym, but you're gonna say I'm running off. But I'm going to the gym.
You are running. No, you're not. You're not running. You're just leaving in a hurry from the conversation that you were losing.
No, I just kind of need to go to the gym because
gotcha. Yeah, because you were getting absolutely demolished.
No, I wasn't. You said a few points.
Yeah, wait, I don't need to go to the gym because I just inject Tren.
I don't know, man. No,
yeah, that's the difference between me and you. You want to do things. You want to do things inefficiently, whereas I'm all about maximum efficiency.
Well, not really.
Why would you want to go to the gym? Why would you want to go to the gym to get testosterone when you can just inject the Tren and get the testosterone easily?
You actually don't get testosterone from Tren. You get testosterone from injecting testosterone or boosting it naturally.
Oh yeah, well that's what I
Tren will actually cut off your testosterone.
No, not if you keep on injecting it.
No, because Tren takes away your testosterone. It'll block
No,
it from you. So
not if you
I've
keep
actually
taking
got
it. Not if you take more and more.
no. If you keep taking more Tren, then your balls ain't gonna work because it'll cut off your natural testosterone.
No, you just gotta
So
keep
that's
on.
why you
Well,
gotta
yeah,
take
and then you
testosterone
supplement for
along
that
with
with Tren. So I don't know. That's the difference between me and you. You need to go to the gym
What?
because you lost the conversation. But
There's a transgender telling you to check my videos.
oh well, I mean, you got dunked on by a transgender, so
A transgender
yeah.
can't even accept themselves. Why would I accept them?
Because they do accept themselves.
I
I think
don't think so.
listen, buddy.
I don't think so.
You
I don't
unimaginably
think
do
so.
not have the boots for that hike. Given your performance on the God topic, I don't think you're ready for the trans topic.
Or talk to some guy with on here every single day of your life, putting God isn't real. Request to join if you disagree.
Well, why are
And
you up
half
here
the people.
crying? I don't
Well,
really care about your tears.
no. Why are you doing it on TikTok? Why are you doing it on TikTok? Go do it in a church. Go to some church
Go
and
do it
say
in a
that.
church. I do it on TikTok to
Yeah,
reach
yeah.
more people. I started on TikTok. TikTok was the app I started doing politics content on. I just
No,
changed
fully
my platform
respect
to
you.
religious stuff.
Ain't no hate like Christian. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying. But yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to see if you make a video going in the church, going up to a bishop or priest, and if you
I've
beat them in a
debated
debate, then every respect.
I've debated multiple priests, bishops, and pastors on my live
On TikTok. Yeah,
on
but like
TikTok. Yeah,
they can't really prove that. There's loads
they
on TikTok that are just false.
yeah. Wait, do you want to? Oh, I'll run a fun argument on you. I can just easily prove to you that prayer is useless. Do you think God's perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that God only does the perfect thing? That God
What
can?
is,
Do you think?
what is wrong with your followers? They keep commenting saying I'm doing something
Wait,
wrong.
buddy, stick with the argument. Do you think that God's
Well,
only going to do the perfect thing? Will God do imperfect things?
Yeah.
God will do imperfect things, then he's not perfect. All right, there's the contradiction that God is both perfect and imperfect, therefore he doesn't exist.
Well, if you do something imperfect, Judgment Day, then no one knows what happens on Judgment Day.
But I'm asking you if God can do
Might
imperfect
be
things.
I might be cooked.
Oh, if you're racist, then yeah, you are cooked. Yeah.
I'm not racist.
Oh, people are saying that your videos say otherwise.
Yeah, but look at the people in the audience.
I don't know. I think they're probably more trustworthy than you are. You know, all men are brothers. You gotta accept and love all people in order to get into the pearly gates, even in your own religion.
Oh no.
All men are brothers. You gotta
Yeah,
stop
no.
being racist.
My videos aren't racist. They're against immigration, illegal immigration, not legal migration.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't speak to them
Yeah.
without seeing them, but I do trust the audience more than I trust you, insofar as you're kind of a weird dude. But
My posts aren't racist. They're just anti-immigration, illegal immigration. By the way, I stand for legal migration.
okay, that's nice. I'm not
I'm not
gonna.
racist.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
No.
Well, you got anything else, or do you
Jesus
need
was
to?
full
Did you need
of
to
immigrants.
run to the? Did you need to run to the gym?
Yeah, no, I'll probably walk to the gym, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, man. But I don't know.
You should seriously
Thank you for
reflect
letting
on
me
on your personality, because you're kind of a weird individual. But other than that, I do accept your surrender from your just utter inability to engage with even a basic point. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Let's get this in front of as many people as we can. Try to get all the way up to 170k likes, let's call it. So everyone leaves 20 likes. We'll be there already. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran, that you have an argument which does not involve personal experience, and that you are 18 or older. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly-Ian. Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Both are in my bio. Appreciate any and all support. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Robert?
There we go. How we doing, man?
Doing well. How old are you?
I am 19 years old.
And what religion?
I am a Christian.
Okay, what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
Okay, so what I want to focus on is God in general, which I hope you're cool with, Alana, right? Is that fine with you?
Sure.
Yeah, so it kind of is a question answer kind of outcome. So I want to ask you, do you believe in the concept or the principle of cause and effect within our world?
There are some caused elements and there are some uncaused elements. For example, a thing that is uncaused would be like, so electrons either have upspins or downspins, but it's like a 50-50 chance, but whether they have an upspin or a downspin is completely uncaused. There's no causal element involved in whether they have an upspin or a downspin.
I don't think that actually would disprove the principle of cause and effect.
So what's the principle of cause and effect then?
It's the idea that every effect has a cause.
But this is an effect without a cause.
So what your situation seems to be is you went in a little bit. Can you go a little bit more in details? You said there's something about it spinning around. It sounded more like that's something that they just do, and it's like either or. It's like a coin flipping 50-50, and the cause of it flipping 50-50, like it's random, but the cause would be you flipping it. So could you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, so there's no flipping process is the problem. That it either has, so quantum mechanics actually holds that it is like both simultaneously, but what causes it to like there's nothing that causes it to have one or the other.
Okay, so it's produced at random, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, and how do these things exist?
How do they exist?
Yeah, how do they? I'm not deep into what you're talking about specifically. I'm trying to get a kind of understanding.
Electrons?
No, you were saying something about something deeper than electrons. What were you saying specifically? Could you give me more detail?
Yeah, so electrons have an upspin or a downspin, but whether they have an upspin or a downspin is uncaused. It's a 50-50 division between all electrons, but the fact that one like given electron has an upspin rather than a downspin, that's uncaused.
Okay, so in that situation, the upspin and the downspin being you're saying that this is basically an effect without a cause. I don't believe that to be so. I don't
What's the
believe that
cause?
well, of course, I don't know the exact details. I'm just going off of what you're telling me. But the concept seems like there's two outcomes, potential outcomes, that people don't understand how they are caused. But there's a lot of things in science, and I know that you can agree that there's been various periods throughout science where something can happen, and we're not at a point where we develop the ability to understand the details as for why this happens. I think it would be kind of ridiculous to say that there's a principle in reality that we can see in pretty much every detail of our reality, and then from there, there's one thing within one of the hardest things to research and find more information about that somehow doesn't have the same principle in it that we can observe throughout our entire reality.
Okay, so the problem is that it's not that they aren't taking the agnostic position as to what the I'm sorry, wait. So it's not that the agnostic position is being taken in regards to whether or not they have a cause. It's that the affirmative position is being taken in that they do not have a cause. That the leading interpretation of quantum mechanics, called the Copenhagen interpretation, holds that these things are fundamentally, foundationally uncaused.
Yeah, so you're talking about something that you can. It's kind of like a reductio. So you're reducing the elements down to its most simple form, and then seeing from there, there's no cause, basically.
Yeah, well, for electron upspin, downspin specifically, there is no cause. That quantum mechanics is probabilistic from what it seems. From all the available data indicates that it's probabilistic.
Okay, so I want to ask you: do you believe in Occam's razor?
Occam's razor?
Arkham. I think his name was Arkham's.
I don't know about Arkham's razor, but I know Occam's razor from
Yeah, I'm pronouncing
William
it
of
wrong,
Ockham,
maybe.
the guy, the like religious guy from, I don't know, like the 1200s.
Wait, do you know what
That
I'm
we should
referencing
prefer
now?
the simpler explanation for things, all else equal.
Yeah, so basically, what's more simple is more likely to be true and probable. So in this situation, like I said, if we're going off of what you're saying that basically this principle that we can look at in every aspect of our world somehow just doesn't prove true in this scenario, which is a lot more complicated and less simple than if it were to prove true, but which is more likely, we just don't have the understanding to be able to understand to be able to inspect it more, to be able to find the cause due to maybe limits in technology or something like that.
No, so it's okay. Wait, so I'll clarify this. The exact same thing, but like a little bit more clear. It's not that we don't know. It's that we do know, and it is the case that these are uncaused, at least under this interpretation of quantum mechanics. And you can say, well, later interpretations are going to come out in a different time. Problem is, every single interpretation of quantum mechanics is probabilistic. There is some uncaused element of all of it.
Yeah, so what I would say is when we reduce everything, and I would think it would be somewhat likely for the most fundamental things to have God as the cause directly, excuse me, as far as them coming into existence, of course, because if you reduce everything, it all goes back to, of course, a creator. Of course, you don't believe in that, but of course, in the reality I believe in with my beliefs, everything would go back to a creator. So in this instance, that would make sense if we reduce everything back to the beginning or where it can come from. But I would say if we're living in a reality where cause and effect is a principle we can see in literally every detail of our life, detail of existence that we see, even with our natural eyes and most in science. And then there's, of course, the things like that you're referencing, the fundamentals of reality, right? I would say that it's more reasonable to believe that, okay, all of these things have a cause up to the beginning where there was a cause outside of our reality that caused our reality to come into existence, which would be more probable due to its simplicity.
Okay, so if your argument is like an inductive one that we should work with like the data that is most readily available to us, then this actually forms the foundation for an argument for why God is not real. Specifically because all the minds that we've ever encountered have bodies. So if all the minds that we've ever encountered have bodies, then we can infer that the only minds that exist are the ones with bodies, which means that we would infer that God does not exist because God would be a bodiless mind.
No, so what I would say is it's actually more simplistic and therefore more possible that we live in a reality where there's something outside of us to cause us. So if you're saying basically everybody has a brain, every instance we see where someone has a brain, they also have a body. It wouldn't be reasonable because
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Pause. So
That's
what
not
I'm
what I'm
saying
saying.
is inside of our reality, the principles that we see, which is cause and effect, come into play, right? We can say, okay, throughout this reality, cause and effect is consistent. But we have nothing to say for outside of this reality, the things that we cannot perceive, which means that there can be principles and rules for reality outside of that may affect this one. So what I'm saying is what is more probable, more simplistic, which means more probable, is that all of our reality is cause and effect. Something outside of our reality caused it.
Yeah, that's not the argument. The argument is literally just so you're appealing your argument for the law of causation, which isn't true, is that everything is caused. First of all, I gave you an example of something that's not caused, upspin and downspin of electrons. But putting that entirely aside, your argument is literally just, well, everything that we've ever seen has been this way, therefore it must be the case that everything we've ever seen is cause and effect, therefore it must be the case that cause and effect exist. Now, my argument is that every time we've encountered a mind, an element that is capable of thinking, this element that is capable of thinking has always had a body, which means God can't exist because God doesn't have a body.
And actually, that's not even a realistic claim because there's now AIs that can. When you say like think, what do you mean? Because like, of course,
Yeah,
like
just
there's
like have
AI,
thoughts.
What do you mean exactly?
Just like have
You believe
thoughts.
that
Like
an AI can have thoughts?
no.
Okay,
And
what do
and
you? I
even
don't
if I
want to get too
did,
deep into that because I think I can kind of solve the problem more simple. When I say everything that we're going off of, you understand that there's what's the word for what's the thing when you're debating and there's I'm forgetting the word when something is real and 100% and it's not.
deductive,
No, it's not. It's not based off of people's opinion. It's objective. Yeah,
objective.
objective. Yes, objective. So what I'm saying is, within our argument, there is no objective as far as us. You see what I'm saying? What we're saying because it's all based off of what we think and what we understand. Now, as far as our reality, we come to look at principles and truth as something that is the most probable and the most likely to be true. So if we're looking at simplicity and Occam's razor, however you pronounce that, simplicity would make it most likely to be true. It wouldn't be a fundamental objective principle that we can live by because nothing is as far as of course of a conversation like this. So what I'm saying is it's most likely. I can't say it's tried and true, but I do believe it because it's the most likely, like everything else.
Yeah, so I've already given you the example of the thing that doesn't rely on causation. You haven't had a refutation to it, but for the sake of like moving the conversation along, like,
I can
so
refute that.
if the law of causation is true, then what's the next premise?
Well, oh yeah, if it's true, that would mean that everything in this reality had a cause, which means that if we break it down to the beginning, that would mean that something would have to have caused the first thing to be here.
Okay, and what's the argument for why there needs to be a first thing in the first place?
Because it's a fundamental principle of our reality, and if we reduce everything that we see back to as far as time going back as far as possible, the first thing would have to have had a cause. But if there was nothing before, wait, excuse me, if there was nothing before the first thing, that would mean that something outside of this reality would have had to cause it.
Why does there need to be a first thing?
Because if yeah, reality. So say for instance, there's nothing in reality, then there's one thing, but everything has a cause and effect. So if one thing is a effect and it's there would be something that would need to have caused it for it to be the first thing within our reality.
So wait, but okay, maybe you don't understand the question. I'm asking like, why does there need to be a first thing? So why is it not possible that before today there was something, and before that day there was something, and before that time there was something, and before that time there was something, going back for forever, like in a never-ending chain of like before that there was something, before that there was something? Why is that not possible?
Well, is that what you believe? I just believe
That's, yeah,
that
that is what I believe. Yeah, that there's the universe, time goes back infinitely.
infinitely. So when I like to use this method of thinking when it comes to like simplicity and something being most likely. I don't believe you have evidence to believe that the universe is infinite as far as the one that we live in.
Yep, I can give the argument.
Well, that would make it more simple than there having a start to this.
Okay, I can give the argument if you're interested.
Go ahead.
So premise one of the argument is that a beginning, or I guess to come into existence, is a change of states. A change of states requires a sequence of states,
I don't
and that
believe in that.
you don't believe a change of states requires a sequence of states?
No, I don't believe that you can change state without there already being something. That's an assumption that there's already something there to change.
Yeah, I agree.
So what you're assuming that there's already something there to change.
Well, but
What's
you
the
think that there's already something there, God.
No. I'm talking about two different realities, right? Say for instance, dimensions, right? In our dimensions, what we can observe is that cause and effect is a reality that we live in, a principle of our reality, which means that principle is the most likely that's something that we can go over. That's something that we can rely on to reduce all the way back to the beginning of this reality, meaning that the first thing that came here needed a cause.
Wait, so which premise do you reject, premise one or premise two?
I believe it was one, the idea that something could be changed without being there in the first place.
That a beginning is a change of states?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you give me the beginning that does not require a change of states?
You can't change states if you're not there in the first place.
You can't. Okay, wait. But can you give me an example of a thing that is a change? That's a beginning without a change of states. Like, because otherwise, the problem that you run into is that you think that reality was identical before the beginning and also after the beginning, which means that there was no beginning.
That's an interesting idea, but as far as states, you say maybe I didn't understand what you meant there. So you're saying
Yeah.
there's change of
Okay.
states, meaning that something is now different than it was before, but that would still hold true that there needs to be something there before in order for it to be different. But you have to understand that our reality is separate from the one I believe is outside of it, which means that it wasn't here before. That it would mean that there was a reality here separate outside of the one we live in. So there was nothing to be changed. There was just a new reality. Do you know that?
So,
You following me?
kind of, but we can just like adjust for this problem by just we can just take reality as a whole. So in your view, this would be like, so at first there's God, and then God creates, and then there's like God with creation after. So there's like the before state, and then there's the after state. So then there's like a change of states.
I would say change of situations, but we're not talking about the same thing as far as a state, I don't believe. Because I would believe that if we're talking about reality in the first place, we would have to say reality was like this, then reality changed. But if we're talking about this reality, it just wasn't here in the first place. If you
I
see what I'm
don't
saying,
think
you're
that
going
there's
outside of our reality to say that there was a change of state, but you don't believe that there's a reality outside of our reality in order for there to be a change of state.
no. So you're confused. So I'm doing the opposite. I'm giving a reductio, a reason why it could not possibly be the case that time came into existence, because specifically, if time came into existence, there would be a change of states, which implies that time already existed.
Oh, so you're basically saying that nothing could have happened because there wouldn't have been a win. But I don't believe that I believe that our reality is a mix of multiple, of course, principles like time, space, energy, etc. So I would say that those things were there, and then I kind of agree with that a little bit. So say for instance, time, energy, space, and then God created Earth and whatnot inside of these principles,
Yeah.
and then we were here from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's what I hold too, just without God. That I hold that there was like all the stuff, it's always existed, and then it just has been changing forever.
But that's just unreasonable because it's the least likely thing to be true. You would have to prove that it would be more likely that something is infinite
Yeah.
than that it had a cause. But the principle of cause and effect is the thing that we see the most often. That's the most reliable principle in our reality. And you're basically saying that principle comes into naught when it comes to something starting off being infinite, which is our reality.
Yeah.
As far
So
as like say for instance the earth and humans and so on, no, I would say like the first creation.
yeah, so it literally just comes back to simplicity. That we have these two worlds, either we have like time and matter and like energy, whatever. It's always existed, and then after and then like eventually it like led up to Earth. Or we have like it's always existed, and then God has existed, and then God said abracadabra and made the earth out of this like already existing substance. That it's just the simpler view to believe in like the eternal universe alone versus the eternal universe plus God.
No, that doesn't make sense. So I would say as far as creation, that's what I would account as our reality, right? So creation is created, it has a cause. That's my premise, right? That's my idea. Now, as far as what I'm saying about your argument is, it's a lot less likely that the first cause within our reality, like it's a lot less likely that our reality is infinite in I can't even say the first things because that would imply that there's a beginning, but you're saying that our physical reality is infinite. I don't know how you kind of justify that as far as it being more likely than there being a first. Like, how do you like? I just can't conceive that. How could you kind of justify that our reality is infinite?
Oh, if you want like an
Whatever you thought.
analogy to help it make sense, where did God come from?
But God was just there. Yeah.
Yeah, the universe is just there.
And so you would have to prove that's what I'm saying. When you separate it into two different realities, it makes a lot more sense because you're basically saying that in this world where cause and effect is the most reliable principle, one of the most reliable principles in human existence, and you're somehow saying that it comes into not just for there being an infinite reality that we're in. It is a lot more likely that there's a reality outside of ours that first caused this. So
And wait,
I
what
don't,
caused that reality?
that reality, and that's what I'm saying. Our principle of cause and effect, we only are able to perceive cause and effect within this reality, so that there can be an effect without a cause, and that's very possible outside of our reality. But the thing that we've observed for centuries is that cause and effect is a true principle within our reality. So that's why I separate it and say a reality outside of this one, and that's why it's such a consistent argument, because it's a consistent principle. It's very simple. You come back to the first thing, it had to have a cause, which means that if the first thing was here, that means there was something outside of our reality in order to cause that first thing. That's what I would believe makes the most sense. And is the
No,
most
I think that this just betrays its own principles. That okay, let me like spell this out. So either we have eternal universe or finite universe caused by eternal Godverse. So why would I want eternal Godverse causes finite universe when I can just take out one of these elements, make it simpler, and just say eternal universe?
no, so I don't think that makes sense. As far as simplicity, I would say so simplicity is due to the characteristics of the argument, right? So if we're looking at simplicity and I'm saying, okay, cause and effect is a principle that's very simple, we've seen it, and therefore we can reduce that the first thing had a cause. That's simple. That just makes that there's more details involved in the situation, meaning that there is most likely to be a reality outside of the one that we're in. So just saying infinite, I'll give you an example because it's hard to explain it in that way, right? Saying humans just popped up out of nowhere, that's simple, right? But it's not more likely than humans developing over time and, being created and so on, right? So what I'm saying is just because like simplicity isn't the only variable, that's what I'm saying. That's why I always say that, okay, the principle of cause and effect is tried and true. I think that makes it more clear.
So I can give you a it's only 3 premises now. It's pretty similar to the argument I ran, but it's a reason why God could not have possibly created, or why time can't be created. So the first premise is that creation is a change of states in reality.
So that's the thing that I don't agree with you on, because as far as my argument, I established that there's 2 realities. There's one that we have no understanding of, which means that we don't understand the principles of, which means that the principles of that reality could be anything. And then there's the reality that we understand, which we know the principles of, which I state cause and effect, right? That's the principle we understand. Now, as far as there being the first cause, always goes back to that. A change of states, these are assumptions you're making that this is happening within the principles we already understand, which means it would have to be inside of this reality. You don't understand the principles in the other reality because we don't live there. We don't understand those principles.
The way you're using reality is confusing to me because presumably there's only one reality and everything else is not real. So if you think God is real, then you would have to hold that God exists in reality, the one reality I'm referring to. But could you give me like a definition of reality?
Yeah, I think it's just a problem as far as verbiage.
Okay.
Let me fix this. So when I say reality, I'm meaning, okay, the first creation, we abide by different principles than what there would be as far as a creator, right? The unseen world, say for instance, what we're living in is the physical domain, the reality. Say, for instance, like you understand things like antimatter, things like that, principles that we can't see, right? Certain things we can study and understand because we have technology, but a lot of the times we're limited to our understanding of these things that are unseen by how much technology and the developments in that area. So what I'm saying is, in the reality that we can perceive and understand, it's very clear that this principle exists. The reality that we can't see, there can be all types of principles dwelling inside of that, as far as how I define reality, that we don't understand.
Okay, so when I say reality, when the Dexter, thank you so much for the 5-cent subscriptions. Big W Dexter for the 5-cent subscriptions, and welcome to the community. Anyone who received one. When I say reality, I'm just talking about the totality of all of that. Like all of all of the realities together. When I say reality, I just mean all of the things that you say when you list out all the different realities, just all of it taken together. So do you agree that that creation is a change of states in reality?
Could you define states? Because you would have to have a single element for it to change state, or a single kind of like thing, dare I say,
Yeah.
for it to change states, right? We're talking about like scientific states, like, say, for instance, like liquid physical, like a physical state.
So the particular condition that something is in.
Okay.
Yeah, so do you agree that the particular condition of reality is changed by creation?
I would agree.
Okay, so you agree with the first premise that creation is a change of states in reality. Do you agree that that a change of states requires a sequence of states, that there's like some sort of ordering here?
A sequence of state. Could you give me a little bit more details on that?
Yeah. So like just that there's like a progressive ordering to it, that when we boil a pot of water, that it's in like it's unboiled and then sequentially it becomes boiled, that it's not the other way around. It's not that it goes from being boiled to unboiled when we boil a cup of water, just that there's like a sequence to it, that that the direction of it is only one way. That
I wouldn't agree, because you
okay.
can unboil water by turning off the heat.
Yeah, but then this would just be like a separate interaction, that when you're boiling water, the sequence is that it goes from boiled to, or that unboiled to boiled. That would just be like a completely separate interaction.
Well, I would say this would only hold true if the variables hold true, and there's nothing that interacts with the outside of these two elements. Say, for instance, a pot, heat, air, that doesn't change, like, as far as the environment. But if the environment changed, I wouldn't agree that the sequence is 100% likely to fulfill as far as the stages.
Okay, wait. So when God created everything, which came first, creation, or or like the world without creation, or the world with creation? Was there an order to these states?
The world before creation was before.
Yeah, so there's an ordering to it. So similarly, for all changes of states, there's going to be an ordering to it.
The most likely order, I would say, because not everything would follow a direct order, because of course, variables outside that can kind of change what's going on. But I would say at a high level like that, if we're making it simple, yes.
Okay, sure. So you agree that a change of or that creation is a change of states in reality, and that a change of states requires like an ordering of states, or like a sequence.
I would say that I would agree that there's usually a sequence I would say there is a sequence. There's usually a sequence that takes place. Yes.
Could you give me like an example of like the event where that's not true?
Where there's not a sequence that takes place?
Yeah, where there's no like ordering to the states.
Okay, so say for instance you're boiling a pot of water, but a cat jumps on the stove, knocks the pot off.
Yeah, so then
That's like what I mean by outside variables changing this order of states.
Oh, sure. But you still recognize that overall, in the bigger picture, there was still an ordering of states that went on here. That at first the state one was you were attempting to boil the water. State two, cat jumps onto the dish and makes it, or jumps onto the counter. State three knocks it off the counter. State four, like no more boiled water. I guess that there was like a sequence that this followed.
So I'm trying to get your point here. As far as the sequence, you're just saying that things happen, but you're saying order. And when I think of order, I'm thinking, okay, boiling water water's there, heat's there, it boils, then it evaporates, right? That's a sequence that follows a chain of what I would call order, not like chaos, right? So what you're saying as far as order or states, it sounds like you're saying it can involve chaos too. It's not just something that is based off of order. Are you just saying it goes
Just whatever the events are, like that there's a before and after part of all of this. That it follows some sort of like progression. That all change of states are going to follow some sort of progression, that there's a before and an after state.
As far as, yes, I would say everything until you reduce all the way up to the first thing that was created.
Okay. So I mean, I reject this presupposition because that's just begging the question. I'm attempting to disprove the existence of this thing in the first place.
Of the first thing?
Yeah, wait. Well, actually, I don't even know if that matters. Would you agree that a change of states in reality requires like a before and an after?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you agree that a before and an after can only be traversed via time?
Yeah.
Okay. That means that we have it that creation requires time, that in order to do the act of creation, time must exist.
Yes.
So God can't create time because in order to create time, time must exist. But if God hadn't yet created time, then time would not yet exist. So God cannot create time.
So we're talking about two different realities here. So
I
I
don't
think
understand.
I actually like what you say there, because that actually broadens the definition kind of reality. It makes it more simple to me. Because beforehand I kind of agree to include time, but as far as God, and I think your argument is pretty good as far as where we ended up there, but I do think that there is a change as far as time being an element that is created.
But
Because
I just gave you an
I
argument.
included these principles inside of I included God inside of these, but say for instance, for the sake of the argument, that God is outside of these principles.
Oh, then you're just saying God is illogical.
No, I'm saying God doesn't abide by our logic, because our logic is a representation of our reality, which God does not exist within by the
Okay.
bounds of, I would say.
Then you've created a much bigger problem for yourself, which is that God is nonsensical and that everything now follows.
No, that was I don't know how you perceive a change though, because beforehand it was the same thing. God lives outside of the principles which we deem logical, the things that the rules in which we understand reality to.
Okay. Does God have the power to make the sun both exist and not exist at the exact same time?
But that's within our reality.
Okay, wait, but does God have the power to do that?
He created the reality, so he created the rules of the reality. So you have to understand, if he acts within this reality, he's abiding by the rules. Do you see what I mean here? So
But
God is
wait, could he?
so I just want to make this simple so everybody in the audience can understand too. If God is not inside of our reality, that would means that in order for him to be there, he doesn't need those characteristics which we deem logical, because he doesn't abide by the same rules. Now, as far as him interacting with this reality, he created the rules. So while he's in this reality, he abides by them. So say, for instance, he created the idea of a circle, or what's defined as a circle. So by those rules within this reality, he's not going to make a square circle, because that's going against his own character, which is truth.
Wait, okay, so is God in our reality when he creates something in our reality?
Is God in? I don't know. So say for he doesn't have to be. That's what I would say. It depends. He doesn't have to be.
Oh, so wait. Okay, wait, so then can God from outside of our reality, can God make the sun both exist and not exist at the same time?
What did you say? Hold on. I'm trying to get
Can
something to drink
God
in my
from
water.
outside of our reality make the sun both exist and not exist at the same time?
No, because he's acting within our reality. So, like, say for instance, he's the cause, but the effect is within the reality. So the same thing holds true. It doesn't matter whether he's physically in or not physically in this reality.
Okay. So here's the rock and the hard place that you're caught between. Either you restrict God to being to such that everything that he creates is logical, that it's like logically consistent, in which case you need to reject that he made time via the argument you agreed to. Or you can reject that God's creations of things in our reality is logical, in which case you need to reject the law of non-contradiction, by essentially saying that God can make the sun both exist and not exist at the same time. So, I mean, that's up to you. So is God logical when he makes something within our reality?
So you said a lot of things there, but my main way that I want to go about addressing that is that the only way we understand how God works is when he interacts with this reality. That's the only way we can understand what things he does, what things he doesn't do. Now, as far as, and a lot of people get this wrong as far as God and all of his characteristics, they say things like, hey, is God so strong that he can create a rock that even he cannot pick up? A good way to explain this is God's principles, as far as the things we attribute to him, are like omnipresence, this, that, and the third. Those are what we deem necessary to create the world, not what's needed to be God. God is his identity, meaning that he does not have to hold all of these characteristics at one point, at one time, in order to be God. So, like, say, hear me out. Like, no, hear me out. So, like, the incarnation, right? Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ is a manifestation of God in the flesh, he could manifest himself into a physical body, which would mean that there's rocks that he created that he cannot pick up physically, because he took away those character traits from himself for that period of time. Now, as far as what I believe God, the principles of God and how he acts, is that he doesn't do things that are outside of his character, which means that, say, for instance, he created a circle to be a circle for a reason, which means that he would not make a circle a square, because those two things can't hold true at the same time.
Wait, so you think that God changes?
God changes as far as what?
That God changes with time? That God exists within time?
Could you explain to, like, an example of, like, what you're going for here?
So
like,
that God is not time. You reject the idea that God exists outside of time? Because you're saying that God has different properties at different times. So then God doesn't exist outside of time. He exists within time.
No, so you have to understand he exists in a reality separate from us, which means that he can come into this reality. Meaning that, say, for instance, manifesting himself in the flesh, Jesus Christ, right? He would be subject to the laws of this world, which is time, physicality, him being a human and, having to eat, having to poop, do all these different things. He can subject himself to these things by coming inside of this reality. That's what I mean.
Okay, wait. So I just want to get this straight. So you're saying that God can create time because he exists outside of our reality, even though it would be illogical. He can do it because he exists outside of our reality, but he cannot make the sun both exist and not exist at the same time, because that would be illogical. So can God make illogical things in our reality, or can he not?
Give me a second to think on that, because you said a lot of things.
Yeah. That's fine.
You're saying so you're asking if he can create things that are illogical. What I would say is God doesn't go against his character. And
Then how
his
can he create
character
time?
is truth. And if something holds true, he can't go against it.
Then how could he create time?
He's outside the principle of time.
But that doesn't help, because what he actually needs to be outside of in order to avoid this is logic. That he can be outside of time, that's
No, so
fine.
wait,
but in order to
everything-
create something, time must already exist.
Yes, and that is exactly what I mean, which means that all of these, the foundation of everything else is time, which means that everything else is on top of it, which means that he has to first create time for something to hold true within time, which means that something like the sun being created is something that happens after time is already established.
But you
know what I
can't
mean?
create time just based on like logic.
What do you mean?
We went through the argument earlier that that creation is a change of states in reality, that a change of states in reality requires a before and an after, and that a before and after can only be traversed via
Well,
time.
yeah. So let's think about this order of events. It's gonna all make sense when we think about the order of events. Excuse me. So I would say within our reality, time is the first effect. Then there's something that has to traverse through time, which I would say is mattergy. I mean, which is matter. And say, for instance, I wouldn't say it's an exact order. I'm just saying in order, right? Say, for instance, something has to traverse time, which is matter. That matter has to be made of something, or have some ability to do something within that time, which means it needs to have energy. So all of these things come off of the foundation of time. So when I say back to the first thing, I would say the first thing in our reality would be time. So that would mean that God is the cause outside of time to be that first cause to time. You
So
see
which premise do you reject for God? 1, 2, or 3?
Wait, could you?
Yeah, let's go through the premises again. Tell me if you disagree with any of these premises in the context of God, that creation is a change of states in reality, like all of reality, that a change of states requires a before and an after, or that a before and an after can only be traversed via time.
The last one sounded pretty interesting to me.
If you reject the last one, then you need to affirm that there are like timeless befores and afters.
No, yeah, it's all making sense, right? So the third one, and why do I say this? Because befores and afters happen within time. In order for time to be a cause, in order for time to be an effect, there needs to be a cause. A cause can happen. Oh, this all makes sense. Hold on, think about this. A cause can happen. Oh, thank God. Listen, a cause can only. No, so a cause can happen, but effect can only happen once there's time. If time is the effect, it makes perfect sense, because the cause, which is God, can make time, and time being the effect can only take place if there's time, which means that the effect of time is logical.
No. So you
Come
actually
on, man.
no.
Come
wait,
on.
you actually
Come on.
you kind of gave it up at a point there, that effects can only come into existence after time is in existence. That's exactly right. Effects can only happen after time is in existence, which means that the effect of time can only happen after time comes into existence. So time would need to be in existence in order for the effect of time to actually happen, which means that the effect of time cannot happen because that would require time to be in existence, but it's not been brought into existence yet.
No, that doesn't make sense. So what I'm saying here is time is the effect, which means that so a cause doesn't need time, because a cause. So say, for instance, an effect only happens within the logic of time. So when a cause happens, the effect, the time so say, for instance, the time between a cause and effect is time. But when a cause happens, the effect can be time, because it's hard to explain, but you should get what I'm getting at here. The effect of time can only take place because the cause, the difference between the cause and effect is time. If a cause happens and the effect is time, the difference between those is itself being creation. I mean, being created.
Okay, wait. So I might need to. Okay, wait. So we have. So fuck. Damn. I made a little diagram for us. So we have in state 0 we have God, and then God does the act of creation, which leads to God with time. So what the argument leads us to is that there is a before and after state here, and that this before and after state, you need to give me an explanation for how a before and an after can be traversed in the absence of time. How can you have, so if you have a before and an after, why wouldn't the after have already happened if time doesn't exist?
Wait, could you explain that last part? I don't think that makes sense.
Wait, so why would the after part of the before and after not happen if time didn't exist? What
'Cause
causes the after
effect,
part to happen?
an effect can't be there until time. So, like, say for instance, that bridge that you wrote between God and time,
Yep.
right? I'm trying to prop my phone up. Sorry. I'll just hold it for now. But basically, my idea is that time is the first thing in existence, which we established because everything else in existence needs time to rely on. Would you agree with that?
Well, that change requires time.
But do you agree that time would be pretty much the first thing? Like, say for instance, let's.
I don't believe in a first thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying for the sake of the argument, if there had to be a first thing, would you believe that time would be the first thing, or is there something else?
I reject I think the idea of a first thing is incomprehensible.
No, so that's what I'm saying. Just for the sake of the argument, you know how people like say for instance,
I
go
can't
based
defend
off
this.
of
I
that
don't
assumption.
believe in this position. I have no idea. Like, if you want to make an assertion about a first thing, I don't believe in a first thing though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I understand that you believe that there's not a first thing, but same way you would assume that I already agree with a certain part of your argument, then go off of that, or you already did that to my argument. We do it in debate all the time. Like, I forgot what it's called, but you're already assuming that something is already true and then going off of that just for the sake of principles,
Like an internal critique
or something like that. Yeah, basically, what I'm saying is, if there is a first thing within our reality, would you agree that that thing would be time because nothing else within the reality could exist without time?
I have no idea. I don't know. It's a weird question to ask me because I don't believe in a first thing.
Oh, so say for instance, right? There's like energy, matter, space, time, right? Those are the core principles of anything existing within our reality, which means that in order for matter to be there, it needs space. And in order for space to be there, it has to have a when, which is time.
I don't believe in a first. So, okay, wait. Like, a similar thing is people will ask me questions about their religion. They'll be like, well, why do you think God did that? And I'll tell them, well, I don't believe in God, so
That's
I can't
what I'm
really
saying.
give
Like,
an answer to
it's
this. I
completely
can't.
logical within the argument to assume that someone's that a premise is true just for the sake of exploring its effects.
I mean, I'm not gonna. So that would be fine if I was doing an internal critique of your view. But I'm not. Like, that's just your conclusion. You're asking me, like, presuppose that your conclusion is true.
Yeah, this is the same thing. But like, I'm just saying, for the sake of simplicity, with all the principles of our reality, what would be the foundation
There is
in order for everything else to happen?
So the problem with this argument is that any of the conclusions that you arrive at, I'm not going to accept because I don't accept the first part of the if-then statement. That we could reason based on this if you want to. We could reason well, what if Superman existed? Well, Superman would beat Goku in a fight if Superman existed. and then we can like come to the conclusion that Superman would beat Goku in a fight. But that doesn't mean that that's true, because Superman doesn't actually exist.
No, so we're solving that problem so that I can use it as an example as far as what we would agree as far as the logic. Then we're going back to the first thing, which we're agreeing and disagreeing on it. We're wasting time by going back and forth about this. I'm just saying.
Well, I don't accept this. I don't accept your presupposition.
You don't have to. I'm saying if that was the case, like say for instance, if Superman was, real, could he beat a regular human in a fight? Yes. Okay, now let's return to what we were talking about before. You see, does that work for you?
I mean, not really, right? Because I don't. The
not that
conclusion
important.
isn't true. It's not. It's about a thing that isn't real. Like, I don't accept this. I don't think that you can make that. Like, you can like speculate if you'd like. We can speculate, but there's no. It's like a pointless line of thought because it's not real.
It's not pointless.
So you would need to establish that there's a first thing. If you're off the app, I can't hear you. You got to come back to the app.
There we go. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you? Oh yeah, I was in the live stream, brother. Hello?
Yep. Hello.
I mean, I got a call. There we go. But yeah, it's not that important. I was just trying to prove that, of course, like if that was to be the case, time would need to come first for everything else to be there. Now, my argument is just that if time is the first thing to come into existence in our reality, in my argument, that would mean that it would be the effect, which means that the cause could happen without it. But then in order for the effect to take place, which is time being created, the difference between those two things happening is time, which is it being created in itself.
So is the effect of creation something coming into existence?
Yes.
Okay, so in order for time to exist, in order for the effect of time coming into existence to happen, time must exist.
No.
But in order for an effect to be
for instance,
actualized, it needs to be within time.
So what I'm saying is time is the distance between cause and effect. So if something happens instantly, there's no distance between these two things, but the effect is time, which means that this thing just happened within time.
Okay, so you just contradict. So the principle that you put forward, and correct me if I'm wrong, like let me know if I'm strawmanning you, but just that effects don't happen absent the existence of time.
Yeah, effects don't happen outside of the existence of time.
Okay, so the effects will not occur unless time already exists, correct?
I don't think you're getting my argument right.
Is time a necessary precondition for effects to happen?
Time, yes, I do agree with that.
Okay, so in order for an effect to occur, time must exist.
Yes, if the effect is time, that means that. So that's why I say instantly. Time is created not over time because it will already need time for that to happen.
Yeah, no, that's my argument.
Time was created instantly, which means that the cause was there, but the effect being time is the effect being time, and you don't need time for time to be created instantly.
No, that's you're just question begging. You're like, it's a circular argument at that point, because this actually leads to my conclusion. Like you've got the argument, but it just leads to my conclusion that if the necessary condition for an effect to occur is time exists, if the effect is that time has not, or so if the effect of creating time is that time comes into existence, in order for time to come into existence, time is required to already exist. And time must exist, it's necessary in order for time to come into existence, which means that time can't come into existence. There's a deadlock there. In order for time to come into existence, time would need to exist, but because time has not yet come into existence, time does not exist, which means that the condition for coming into existence is not met.
Yeah, that's what I disagree with, because if time is the distance between cause and effect, and cause and effect happen instantly, God can create time, meaning that everything after that is within time.
Wait, I'm sorry, can I get a definition of instantly?
Instant means that there is no distance between cause and effect.
There's no distance between cause and effect. So is the cause the same thing as the effect?
Pretty much. It's hard to explain.
So wait. So then the first cause is not God, but rather
so I wouldn't
time?
agree that.
Because if the cause is the same thing as the effect, then God is not the first cause. Time is the first cause.
Yeah, that's why I didn't agree with it. Because, of course, like, you have to understand, I don't debate this. I'm coming, like, this is all off of the dome. So, like, I had to have a second to think that out. So, of course, like, agreeing on the spot versus thinking about it is different. But, like, what I agree is that something can happen instantly, which means that God can create time.
But in order for the effect of time to be created, time must already exist.
I don't agree with that.
Is time existing necessary condition?
Hold on. Do you agree that time is the difference between cause and effect?
I don't really know what that means. I think that time is just the differentiation between moments.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. How can you tell a moment from another moment in a more simplistic way, cause and effect? So, like, that's just an example of it, but I'm not saying like the true most accurate definition, but I'm saying, like, would you agree that that's a good example of time, the difference between cause and effect?
I don't know. I think
say,
that there's
for
something that I
instance,
don't understand about it.
I throw a bottle and then it hits the wall. The difference between me throwing the bottle and it hitting the wall is how much time it took. If something is instant, that means that there was nothing in between these two actions, which means that there was no time to be exchanged there.
So, okay, so time is how you measure this distance, but there's something deeper about time than just like the distance. That time specifically is like the sequence of events.
I wouldn't say the sequence. I would say the distance between cause and effect is probably the most. Yeah, no, I would definitely say that. I actually think that is probably one of the most fundamental definitions of time, because how can you measure time other than something happening within time, which means if something happens, there has to be a cause, and then something happening is the effect. So the difference between the cause and the effect is time, which means that if something happens instantaneously, that means that there's no difference in between these two things both happening.
Okay, that's nice, but what I like
Which
said,
I think is actually really reasonable when you think about it.
no, because so what you're saying is that the distance is measured in time. I agree, the distance is measured in time. You know, if I have like a water bottle, the height of the water bottle is measured in like inches or whatever, but that doesn't mean that inches are the distance from like the top of the object to the bottom of the object. Rather, inches are like a separate thing. Similarly, time is a separate thing. Time measures the thing that you're describing, but time itself is a separate thing.
No, so I wouldn't agree. So, like, say for instance, I don't think that example was too good. So, like, when it comes to time, I can't find a better, like, could you try to define time better than the difference between cause and effect?
Yeah, time is just the sequence of events.
No, a sequence.
The sequence of all events. That's what time is.
No, a sequence is an order. Order is not time. Time is
ordered.
No, so like yes, time
Second
is ordered,
one,
but order is
this
not
moment
time.
comes after this moment comes after this moment.
Yeah,
or
that's
no,
what
I'm
I'm
sorry,
saying.
the reverse. This moment comes before this moment comes before this moment comes before this moment. There's an order to it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Time is ordered, but order is not time. A sequence is order, but a sequence isn't time. Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that the order is the same thing as time, just that time is ordered.
Yeah, time
so
is
wait,
ordered.
like the fire truck is red. That doesn't mean that the fire truck is the same thing as like redness.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying here. That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Wait. No, because that's what I'm saying. That there's no problem in the same way that the fire truck can be red without embodying redness, without being like the exact same thing as the color red. That time can be ordered without being the exact same thing as order.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told you. You just told it back to me. But like, define time outside of a sequence, because
time is a sequence. Time is sequential. I can't do that. Time is a sequence.
Time is sequential, but time isn't a sequence. That's what I'm telling you.
That's just a direct contradiction. I don't know what to
No,
tell
what
you.
I'm saying is the
That's
same
just a direct
idea.
contradiction.
It's the same idea that that's what I'm telling. I don't know what we're not getting here. What I'm saying is, when it comes to time, you're saying that time is sequential, which is I agree. It happens in segments, but the definition of time is not sequence.
What? I I I wholly don't understand what you're
You're
saying.
saying time is basically things happening sequentially. I
Yeah,
don't
that
agree with
we have
that.
events. So we have objects. These objects have properties, and that
You can't say
there's
time
a
is a vector.
sequence wherein these objects have different properties. That sequence, or so objects having properties, that's an event. When we put the events back to back in an order, that's time.
I would say that's yeah. I just fundamentally disagree with that. I think the most, and I actually had to think about this for a second. The most, I would say the best definition for time is the difference between cause and effect. How do you measure how long something took? You see, okay, when did it start and what happened? Both of those things need an effect. So, like, okay, when did it start? That was the cause. Like, how did that happen? That was the cause. And then the effect happened after a certain period, which is the time, which is the difference between those two things. Which means that if something happens instantly, it didn't happen over time. That means cause and effect are both at the same time. So it's just like two dots moving at the same exact time. They're not one dot, but they're moving instantly, which means that time could come into effect instantly, which means that it didn't need time for that to happen. Time is the only the distance between those two things.
Okay, so there's an easy way to like just prove this definition. Just that you could have like a world with like absolutely nothing in it other than time. This would have no causes and no effects, and you could still have time.
So you're saying that there can be time. So so you're saying it's something that can't be measured?
That well, just that there's like you can have a distinction from moment 1 to moment 2 to moment 3 to moment 4
No, you can't. You actually,
forever,
to
but you
think
can just
about
have
it,
like
you
nothing in the
actually can't.
universe. Why not?
You can't have a distinction with only time, because how do you know that there was a distinction?
So let's say that I
How
don't know
can
if
you
you ever
observe this without anything?
yeah, I don't know
Without
if you've ever
memory?
like meditated, but like if you just like stop and like experience the world around you for a second, imagine just like experiencing a world where there were no causes and effects. That there's just like this like eternal nothingness.
Yeah,
There would be no causes and effects, but you could still like pick out moment to moment.
no, I'm not following you here.
Okay. I don't think that this is like a good definition of time, and I've already explained
Well,
like a couple of
is there
times.
a definition we can just look up and see if we agree on?
Yeah, well, the definition that I'm giving you, like a sequence of events, is like philosophically standard, I thought, but is the continued time is the continued sequence of existence and events that occurs in an apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future.
Yeah, so that pretty much goes along with what I said.
That is like that's like word for word my definition.
Wait, could you read it again, please?
Yeah, time is the continued sequence of existence and events that occurs in an apparently irreversible succession from past through the present and into the future.
So it occurs in an irreversible succession, but it's not the succession. And it mentions events. An event can only happen with a cause.
Yeah,
And
wait.
an
So
event
it's
is an effect,
yeah,
which
what it
means that
is.
time is the difference between these two things happening.
Yeah, so what it is this. It's not the. You're right. It's not the past, the present, or the future. It's the sequence.
So it happens sequentially, but it's not the sequence.
So okay, wait. So I'll read it again. Time is the continued sequence of existence and events that occurs in an apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future. What time is the sequence.
I don't agree that it is the sequence. I agree that it happens in a sequence because you have to understand, like, say for instance, there's a cause, then there's effect. There's time that happens in between those. Then there's another cause, then there's another effect. That's two different sequences and it goes in sequential order, but time isn't the sequence. It's the thing in between cause and effect, which I believe actually is more of a fitting definition for time as far as the first part of it. And the last part of it is definitely, I believe, rational and reasonable there.
Okay, then you would just you would just disagree with the way everyone else defines the word time.
Yeah, and I believe that's fundamentally how we grow as far as science and understanding. We challenge things that people deem to be reasonable.
Well, so okay, definitions aren't true or false. There's not like one true definition. You can define any word you want to mean anything that you want it to mean. Problem is, you're not going to be understood. So it's not a matter of like pushing forward and like revolutionizing the definition of time. It's a matter of saying something that's different than what everyone else is saying.
No. I believe that people understand the concept of time, whether like most people don't know that definition word by word. People understand the concept of time, and that's exactly what I'm pretty much manifesting as far as my words when I make a definition for it. So I don't believe it changes anything, but I think it does change our understanding of it if we see a better format for understanding time in general.
Yeah, I guess I don't think that there's much utility in arguing over definitions.
Oh yeah,
But
we can continue. I just believe that time is the difference between cause and effect, right? So in this instant, if cause and effect happened instantly, it didn't happen in time, which means that you can time could come into existence instantaneously.
Wait. So you just have to hold that there's no difference. Is there a difference between a cause and an effect?
Yes. Most of that. Oh yeah, that's what I was showing you as far as an example. If you put two dots on, it's just like parallel lines, right? They are both in the same exact order, and imagine they go the exact same speed towards something. That would mean they're instantaneously they're both in sequence, right? But they're two separate things.
So, okay, if you agree that causes do not equal effects, then you must agree that there needs to be a difference between the cause and the effect.
No, but the difference doesn't have to be time. You have to understand that
What's the
so like say
way?
for instance, you can have two people, right? No, say for instance you have two separate circles. They are both moving instantaneously in the same direction. They are literally two separate objects, but instantly going in the same direction. That's what I mean. So there can be separation as far as other things rather than time, because an effect can't be a cause and the cause can't be directly the effect. So that's what I'm saying. There's two different things here.
So does in order to have an instant, do instants happen in time?
No.
Instants don't happen in time? What are
No,
instants a measure of?
that would of course that would literally follow what I've been saying this whole time. An instant doesn't need it. An instant doesn't happen in time because time is the difference. That's why you can't really show many examples of
But an instant is where there's no difference. That's what an instant is. It's like picking out. For me, like my worldview is very easy to explain. An instant is just picking out one of the events in like the sequence. So what do instants happen? If instants don't happen in time, what do they happen in?
So yes, that's what I'm saying. Hold on, let me see if I can switch my camera and show what I mean here. Wait, hold on. Let me switch this, save it. So this and this are two different things. The space in between is time, right? If these two things are right here, they don't have to be like there's nothing in between them, which means that it was an instant. There was no time in between. Now, as far as the word instant, maybe it doesn't fit the exact definition, but that's exactly what I mean. Cause and effect, the difference in between that happened within time. But if something is instant, time is not the thing that happens that happens in between them.
Okay, wait. So maybe we can avoid the definitions debate entirely, and I could just substitute my definition of time in for all the places where I was talking about time. Just specifically that creation is a change of states in reality. Change of states in reality requires a before and an after, and a before and an after requires the existence of a sequence of states.
No, I wouldn't agree.
Or like a
I
sequence of
wouldn't agree
events,
with where
rather.
you're
That a
going with
before and
that.
after requires a sequence of events.
What I believe is that
Wait, which premise do you reject?
I reject that. Well, I kind of see where you were going with it, and I just kind of rejected where you were going with it
But
because
what premise? That's not a
could you
premise.
restate what you said before your the most recent one?
Yeah. So that that a change of states requires a before and an after.
A change of states requires a before and an after. So it sounds like a cause and effect. Now, before,
It's not. It's a before and an after.
yeah. So I think this is a good example of how we measure a cause and effect.
No,
Before the
wait.
cause,
Stop. Wait. You need to stop trying to inject your definition in. I'm avoiding your definition intentionally.
no. So that's just like what you said. It's like going off of what I don't believe.
Well, no, because I'm just asking you very directly. Do you disagree that a change of states requires a before and an after? Can you give me the change of states where the state 1 is identical to state like 0?
You're saying no, I don't think that properly goes with your question. I think your question could be solved simply. So you're saying that could you repeat that? You said what did you say again? I'm just trying to not get
Yeah.
lost.
So my second premise is again that a change of states in reality requires a before and an after.
A change of states in reality requires a before and an after.
Yes.
Change of states. And could you define states?
Sure.
Because doesn't something already have to be existent in order to change states?
The particular condition that something is in.
In order for something to be in condition, it has to exist.
Yeah, reality exists
I would disagree.
before. Oh, wait, on what grounds?
I would disagree on the grounds that that's how we measure before something happens and after. Like when we say before, that is the time prior to something happening, and after is a time. What's another word for after? After it happening. So in this sense, something has to be in existence for there to be a before state. And
Yeah, so the thing that
we're talking
exists
about
is
the
the
beginning.
facts of reality.
No, so your wording is what's very important here too. I think a lot of people, especially in the comments, are getting confused by your wording because when the one of the main reasons I'm disagreeing with your stance here is because you're saying a change of state. In order for something to have a change of state, it has to be there in the first place in order for something to change.
Did reality exist? Did reality exist before God created
Time?
anything? Before God created anything, did reality exist?
No.
So, so there was a time when God wasn't real?
You're saying a time.
Or was there a point in whatever where I don't even know, because this is like the language is so innately temporal. So then God exists outside of reality. So
Yes.
God's not real.
No, he exists within reality too. He
you
can
agree-
only wait. Hold on. Let me explain. He can only exist when inside of reality once reality is created. So that means that after time, all these things were created. Then he exists within reality. So
That's fine. I can substitute reality because we just have two different definitions. So I'll just substitute in terms of reality, the state of things as they actually exist.
I gotta go in about 5 minutes. But what were you saying?
Yeah. So instead of reality, just think whenever I say reality, what I mean is the state of things as they actually exist. So
The state of things as they actually exist.
So do you agree that creation requires a change of states within the state of things as they actually exist?
That's starting to get really complicated. Creation exists within the state of things, so nothing exists. I don't believe that anything exists as far as
Maybe a better word
creation.
is just everything.
No, because
Everything.
nothing exists before God in my belief.
Did God, so okay, God can be a part of everything. So is there a change in everything after God creates?
Is there a change in everything? What do you mean? So like
Yeah.
you're saying, okay, there was God here, and now there's God plus time. That's a change.
Yes. Yeah, it's a change.
Yes.
A change of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, do you agree that this like change of states in reality requires a before state and an after state?
Yes.
Okay. And do you agree that this before state
Wait, hold on.
and
Let me think. Wait, hold on. Because I can't just blindly agree with what you're saying here, because I know it, of course, when it comes to the debate, I got to think about these things.
yep,
So
yep.
could you repeat your last question?
Yeah, do you agree that a change of states in reality requires a before state and an after state?
Logically, it requires an after state. No, but in order for it to be a change, there needs to be something before it. Yes. So I do believe there was a before and after. Yes, I agree.
Okay. Okay, so you agree with the second premise as well. So the third premise, that do you agree that a before state and an after state requires the existence of a sequence of events, or it can only be traversed via a sequence of events?
What do you mean traversed?
That in order to go from state 1 to state 2, that there needs to be some sort of like sequencing to it.
There is a sequence, state 1 to state 2, yes.
Okay, cool. Then you accept that in order for creation to occur, that there must be, one second, the continued sequence of existence of states that occur in an apparently irreversible succession from past through the present and into the future.
Wait, was that a question, or are you just saying the definition?
Yeah, I'm just asking you, do you agree that in order for creation to happen, in order to have a before and an after, that there needs to be a sequence of events?
There's a sequence from state 1 to state 2.
Yeah, perfect. So that's the definition of time.
No, a sequence is not. That's not what I mean as far as time. So
But
I've been
that's what I
following this whole
mean.
time, and I've been writing. I've been sketching kind of an example of my point here, so that you could better understand. When we say a sequence of events, there's God, and then there's time being created. If God and time, if God is the cause and time being created is the effect. If this happens instantly, there is no separation between these two events. Meaning,
Are they if there's no separation, are they the same event?
no, they're two events that happen at the same time.
Are they the same event?
So like, I think that would be the appropriate time to say like mutually exclusive. I
Are
just
they
want
the
to make
same
sure
event?
No, they're not the same event, but they happen at the same time.
At the same what?
At the same time. That's what instant
So
means.
wait. So God creating time happens within
It's
time?
a figure of speech, but you know exactly what I mean. They happen instantly. There's no separation between these two events, meaning that it was instant and there was no time to pass between these two things.
No what? There's no what that passed?
Time to pass, which means that if I said no time to pass, are you listening to me? No time to pass. If something like I showed you guys the two dots, like one dot to the left, one dot to a right, a line between them. The line is time. If those two dots are right next to each other and that instantly comes into existence, that means there was no time in between them, which means God can create time without time passing. That's my final argument, but I gotta go, man. I really
Okay,
appreciated
well,
the debate. It was fun to talk about all this, man. God bless you. You have a great day,
yeah,
man.
appreciate it.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thanks so much for coming on up. Hey, if you're enjoying the debates, make sure you drop a follow so you never miss a debate in the future. If you like learning about new things, like discussing, exploring interesting topics, feel free to drop a follow. If you want to join the community, there's a link to the Discord in my bio. We do book clubs, reading groups every single Saturday, so you'll never, if you want to get cracked at philosophy, learn more about it. This week we're doing like a reading on presuppositional apologetics, so you can better answer all those people who want to railroad you with like, how do you ground your logic, how do you ground your morality. It's just like a wonderful document that I think everyone should read, but we're all reading it together, so just have it read for next Saturday if you want to come to the reading group. But the Discord, only join if you're 18 or older. It's discord.gg/allegedlyian. It's in my bio. I'd love to see you there. It's just a really great time. I'm very active in it. I like hanging out in voice chat. I like reading through all the debates. I try to be active in it. So please all consider joining. Lots of people talk in the live chat throughout the entire stream. It's just a really good time. Other than that, I'm probably done for the day, but go raid Dean. But seriously, drop a follow. And do all that stuff. Consider joining the Discord. Dean's live on It's Dean with 2 A's, 2 N's. But I'll see you all.